I didn't expect. Well,
We are live, by the way.
are we live?
Are we?
Waiting for
Yes,
it to
we
give
are.
us the time.
Mm, okay.
Because there's
It
always
is
that
the
weird delay where it
time.
doesn't, where it says that we're live, but it doesn't quite show that we're live.
There's that
Oh,
slight delay.
There we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minions with me this evening are Adam
Hi.
and Inquisitor.
hello.
And as it is a Friday, once again, I'm the keeper for the evening, Sanguine. How are both of you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. I'm still at work until the
Mm,
weekend. Got Leviathan coming out tomorrow. I'm gonna go and pick that up.
Nice. So, reporting live from your gangland McDonald's bathroom again?
Yeah, I'm not sure how often we're gonna hear any bangs, but it might happen. Might happen.
I hear a pop pop.
There's been
My
a couple shootings on and off, but
fofo make sure all your kids don't grow.
Hold on, but from a couple of people that live around here, they will assure you that it's not that bad.
No, it's not that
It's
bad.
not that bad.
not that bad where you guys are now. If you move a bit closer to city
No,
center, it
no,
does
no,
get
no, 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 no.
interesting.
This is people who live in these areas.
Well,
There a lot of
even
people
Oh,
concerned.
you're
No,
saying
even more,
it's not that bad.
the
They'll come.
people that
even
will be interviewed are the ones that you're
yeah.
talking about.
Yep.
Well, even like if you go more towards the city center, that's not that bad. It's the south side that sucks.
Yep.
True. Every city has its own little area of hell.
Which is ironic because that's where I bought my car. I went all the way down to Harvey to buy my car, and yeah, it was the sort of thing. It's like don't wander the streets at midnight.
Now, do the bullet holes give you an added discount, or were they already included in the price?
Well, I mean that's just to cut down on air resistance.
Okay.
Ah,
No,
okay.
actually, it's kind of like decoration that hey, I bought a car in Chicago. If you bought a car in like the middle of or maybe like Sioux City out
So it's a
there.
proof that you bought a true Chicagan car?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
Yeah,
this is this is the true mark of a Chicago car. Wow.
it was
Very
funny.
nice.
I saw one guy post a thing talking about show the picture was it was a meme. Picture was like of a shot up car and said just going out for milk in Chicago. And I posted a reply saying, "Hey, it's not so bad. You should see the other guy."
Very nice. But there's just been so much shit news when it comes to the crime front recently. Like, you guys heard about the case, I think it was out of California, where the one woman killed a loss prevention officer at a Home Depot for like a
No.
$200 thing, and
Hold
they
on, wait,
got.
wait, wait. She okay. Could you repeat that headline again? Somebody killed.
So, a woman with a rather lengthy record in possession of a firearm, which was illegal because felon,
Because of course, yeah.
I mean, I didn't mean to elaborate and expand, but
went into Home Depot, went to steal something from the Home Depot, and as she was on her way out of the door, a loss prevention officer went up and went, "Ma'am, you need to pay for this." She tried to attack him. He kind of pushed her off, grabbed the item that she was trying to steal because when she tried to attack him, her grip loosened on it. He went back inside, was talking to someone for a little bit. She comes back inside, shoots him in the chest, kills him, grabs the thing, which, like I said, was worth maybe like $200, $250.
It was a genuine DeWalt, all right.
Holy shit!
And
Your
then
the beep beeps kind of
Yes.
act as the bap bap.
the
Beep,
ambience.
beep,
Blah, blah.
bap, bap.
The only thing that would have been better is if one of the gangland shootings had happened right in the background, as I said, and she shot him in the chest. Bang!
Unfortunately, it's not like a soundboard. It's just ambience.
No, yeah, there's nothing we can do about it, but we will try
It
our
would have
best to
been one of
work
those
with it.
happy little accidents.
Yeah. Um, so okay, let's you know what? Let's do a buffer. Hold on. Uh,
So there's more to the story than this, though. So,
well, no, what, real quick, a real
mhm.
quick buffer. We don't mean to implicate that any of the people that are involved are negative or positive. We are just observing and and explaining what's going on and then conveying our opinion. Do you have dogs at your work?
What? No.
The dogs are just
What,
walking
what,
by the
what
McDonald's.
did you think sounded like dogs?
There was definitely a barking noise.
That's a dude hitting something with, I think, a rod
Okay, so
or
I'm
something.
No,
not
so
crazy. It sounded like a bargain, right?
normal sounds.
Dude, I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit! I'm trying to cast a buffing spell, and all of a sudden a dog starts barking,
Back.
barking. It's a Boston dog.
Back.
Um, but yes, okay, so we don't have to deal with this later on. You can rewind it to this point in time. Um, we're not trying to goof on anybody. Fuck you, and your feelings and your safe diesel. But buff magic casted. Boom. That's only because I played. I was watching a D&D game the other day. So, and
Oh,
But yeah,
I'm,
so
I'm just going to come around and say it. You can go fuck yourself, Niels, aka Susan 2.0. I
yeah.
will say that. Yeah, sure, alleged, but fuck people that shoot other people. How about that? Especially
yeah, especially
felons that
especially
get guns illegally and shoot other people. Fuck them.
especially felons that get their gun illegally, shoot a man in the chest after that man just prevented them from stealing something. And oh yeah, by the way, all of these interactions were caught on camera.
Oh, but see, Sanguine, don't you know that object was worth more than that man's life? At least that's the thing that I keep on hearing about. People defending their home from intruders is that their objects are worth more than someone's life. Well, apparently that object was worth more than that guy's life
Yeah,
because you
and
should have just let that thief have it because then the thief wouldn't have come back and shot him for it.
this is one of the things that pisses me off because that when's an item ever been worth more than a person's life? When they decided it was.
Yeah, when they decided to try and steal it.
Yeah, when they decided it was worth potentially losing their life to try to take my shit. That's when the item became worth more than their life. Because who the fuck am I to argue with their assessment of their own value? But yeah,
I'm so sick of that argument.
it's the dumbest fucking argument. It pisses me off every time I fucking hear it. But that all happens. The woman gets arrested. And so we have a felon in possession of a firearm. We have a premeditated murder because she had to go out, get the gun, come back in to shoot the man. So it wasn't even just like an immediate response. It wasn't murder in the second degree. No. This was premeditated murder.
Yeah.
She decided to kill this person. We have
You know,
premeditated murder in commission of another crime, which normally already has it as murder. If you kill someone when you're committing another crime, that's murder. Almost fucking everywhere. So we have.
Let me guess, because it's a woman, she gets charged less?
Because it was a black woman who, again, convicted felon. She didn't get tried with murder. And when I say she didn't get tried with murder, I don't mean she didn't get tried with first degree. I mean, she got tried with effectively a manslaughter.
How is that manslaughter? How is that criminal negligence? That was a decisive act for her to get a gun and shoot someone. It was not an accident.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense.
And she's due to get something like 2.5 years with time served.
For killing someone.
For killing someone over a $200, maybe $250 object, yes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
I need to get my CCA or CCL. Yeah, CCL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is one of those what the fuck stories that came out recently because the crime happened a while ago. The announcement of what the charges would be and the court proceedings are brand new.
Now, where was the male privilege applied in this court proceeding?
Oh, in the death.
Oh. Oh.
It was his privilege to die so that she could take a $250 item.
Oh. And it's an honorable death.
Mm-hmm.
That one may partake. Did I said partake. Well,
yes, you said partake.
Yeah, I shouldn't take it as seriously as the news article as we're reading. But yes, in partake. Wow. That's honk honk.
But
I love that fucking forklift, dude. Hey, I'm gonna buy that guy a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog ice cream bar.
Very specific of you.
Yeah, well, it's his birthday, so. Oh yes, that's because this episode is brought to you by Sonic the Hedgehog. No, I'm sorry. It's a habit.
But yeah, the woman apparently claims that she killing him. Even though she had to go get the gun in order to do so.
I'm reading the thing right now. Apparently they had a 2-year-old kid in the back of the car and led the police on a high-speed chase, too.
Yep. But yeah, like I said, don't worry. She's getting the most cake of cake sentences. None of that.
There you go. There was a double tap.
Mm-hmm. None of that's being taken into account. None of that's being weighed against her and elevating the sentencing.
It says here, suspects are facing a number of charges, including murder, robbery, child endangerment, and conspiracy, with the possibility of more charges on the way.
Let's see, when did that story come out? Because the one that I heard was just last week.
This was
DA
April
was
9th.
saying that she was downgrading it from murder.
This is April 19th. So, did they name the suspect?
It was talking about this case when they said that the DA was downgrading. Last I heard. So let me see if I can find what the downgrade was. Because, yeah, originally they were going to charge with murder, and then the DA was downgrading.
Slain Home Depot security guard's family upset with DA Pamela Price's handling of case. Decision to pursue lesser charges and sentencing in the case.
Okay, so this one is from a couple weeks ago, but this might be the story. I might have just heard about it late. And it is
Price elected in November on a platform of denouncing tough sentencing and reducing mass incarceration. Several longtime prosecutors have left her office. She faces increased scrutiny and backlash for doing away with the most sentencing enhancements.
Yep. So
apparently she has a fucking history of doing this shit.
The shooting was in April. Then she downgraded the charges, pursuing lesser charges. And let me see if this story tells me the exact charges that she was downgrading to. So they're pursuing charges for something called Little Gun, which is a 5-year sentence. They aren't pursuing for robbery. They aren't pursuing for intent to rob. They aren't modifying any of the charges. And let's see, any additional information in this story? Sorry, just scanning an article that I was able to find that was from the end of last month. Yeah, so the main charge that they're pursuing is for Little Gun, which 5-year sentence with time served. So
wait,
fucked up
little gun. What is
yeah?
little
It's
gun?
apparently the name of one of their laws is Little Gun, and it's a sentence that comes with 5 years in prison. But it's 5 years in prison with time served. And time served in California is double the amount of time served before trial is counted against your eventual sentence, and then you only have to serve, 2/3 of a sentence before you qualify for release in California?
Possibly. I mean, I'm not too familiar with the prison system in California, so.
What's fucked up too is that she tried to read through the dock.
Whoa! I love Bach. This is great music.
Dock, D-O-C-K.
But yeah,
There we go. Now I don't have that. Well, hold on. Still some air. Still some air. There we go. Nope. We got one more.
it's absolute horseshit. And then, of course, there's the other, I believe it was New York subway case that just popped up a little bit ago, where the family tried to claim racism. Then everything started getting dropped, and they shut up about the discrepancy between their family member and Penny.
Where was this at?
It was a new New York subway incident.
Hmm.
Where, let me pull up the story about this one. And and of course,
Well, that
it's
just
the
means
one.
that all the people, this should be a call to all the people in Pleasanton to pay attention to your voting and get her the fuck out of the district attorney's office.
Yeah, it,
Yeah.
This
people need
Christ
to
person.
bounce fucking DAs left and right. Because, yeah, there's, of course, the Daniel Penny one that people are talking about, and that's still the one that most of the time when you try to search for news on a New York subway death, people won't shut the fuck up about, despite it being completely justified. But then there is another one that happened very recently where it was a guy's girlfriend was getting accosted and the guy shot the person. He was immediately arrested after the shooting. He's now walking around free.
Where did this happen?
New York.
Ooh.
Like I said, it was about a week or two after the Penny incident.
did did either of you see the Timcast debate with actual Justice Warrior and I can't remember the
I
lady's
don't
name.
watch Tim Pool, my guy. I don't watch Tim Pool. I don't watch barely any of this, those kinds of things anymore.
I didn't get a chance to see it. How did it go?
Um,
How much did AJW just absolutely bash about the woman?
no, I actually kind of didn't really get too many words in. It's pretty much just Tim Pool and the whoever this person was. Um,
They didn't let AJW talk.
no, well, I mean it's the personalities, So, but in terms of the what you said when you brought up the assaults, it just reminded me of a back and forth that they had where it really is, somebody saying, "Hey, what's going on with this amount of assaults on people?" And the response from the other side is, well, why are you talking about this? What's wrong with you?
Hmm.
It's a really weird fucking
Yeah.
thing to see. But
Why
it's,
are so many people dying? What are you, a racist? What?
yeah, and it's like, well,
No, I don't want
how,
them to die. If I was a racist, I would be okay with them dying. My point is, these people are dying for some fucking reason. Let's figure out why.
and that's honestly, that's why, yeah, that's why Sean didn't get any words in, because it was pretty much like Tim, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and look, I'm not even personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Pool, but he's at least, you know, doing his thing. He's changing for a bit, but it's yeah, no, that it was just odd seeing that this person on the opposite end is espousing such weird things.
Yeah, and he's had a couple really good moments recently from everything that I've seen. Like there was the ah, he was talking to what's the surf's fucking Lance. He was talking to Lance about abortion, and Lance was saying, yeah, up to the moment that the child's born, should be perfectly fine to abort it. And he went, okay, so if a mother decided that she wanted to just use a hell of a lot of heroin to terminate the pregnancy, would that be okay? Well, no. Why not? Well, because she's trying to kill a baby. Wait a moment. And it was just that Lance took a moment to even process what the fuck he just said.
Yo,
He's had a couple good
like,
interactions where he's made someone go, the fuck? Oh, shit.
yeah, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Pool,
Nor am I.
uh, but sometimes he does have some good content, and this recent one was just like, whoa. And I only mentioned it because I kept seeing a bunch of uh bits of like, oh man, Tim Pool got big man, and it's like, well, yeah, because it's hard to explain, but the interaction was the literal, I'm just gonna, you know boost you up into a frenzy, and then once you get emotional, I'm gonna say, haha, you're mad. And it's like, dude, it it was odd,
Yeah,
but it wasn't a debate between actual justice warrior and this person.
that's a shame.
Uh,
I was looking forward to
yeah,
hearing
he
AJW
was
go
he
after
was
her.
he was more of a moderator, uh, but no, it was funny to watch. I because I kept seeing the things, and I was like, oh shit, I had to watch it. Um,
Because she said some gloriously stupid things.
yeah, I don't know who this lady was. I don't know what show she hosts, but it seems on par with uh the type of strategy that these people utilize. Just kind of chalk up a bunch of nonsense, and oh well, yeah, well, I guess because Nazis like you must be a Nazi. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's like, all right, sure.
Yeah, and functionally, she's a talking head on a lot of the independent. I'm putting massive fucking air quotes considering the number of different lines of funding from standard sources going through everything. And yeah, she's been on like Sam Cedar's show, The Young Turks, a shit ton of others like that. And normally she just says the most insane shit possible.
Yes, assassin. What woman? Yeah, this guy. I don't even know who Sam Cedar. I don't even know who this guy is. Like I don't fucking know any. Look, I don't know any of this. I just go by what pops up uh in the news feed, and then sometimes I'll explore and see what's going on. I have my own information feeds that I go through, and believe me, you if Sanguine
Let me quickly look up her name again.
if Sanguine says, "Hey, Adam, you can go ahead and toss that tinfoil hat on. We can go for a ride." But other than that, dude, I just like slightly gloss over the news that's going on, um, and especially in terms of internet drama, like YouTube drama and shit like that. It's
It was Emma Vigeland.
Anna
Was
Anna Vagan.
Emma Vigeland.
Oh, Emma Bagley.
Vigeland or Vigland. Not sure if it's Vi or Vig.
Oh, Anna Viglin.
But yeah.
And a vagina.
Anna Vagina.
No, this isn't I'm Better Than You. This one was yeah, I was assaulted on a metro once. What's the big deal? I would have been pissed if anyone had stopped the person assaulting me.
It's just like I was watching it, and it was just well, not watching it all the time. I was listening to it because I was kind of you know going through about my business, but
And so talking about another interview gone horribly, horribly wrong for the person. Did you see the one with H3H3 and Just Pearly Things?
what they
How
interacted.
how retarded do you have to be made a fool of by Ethan Klein?
Dude,
So
hold on.
what was this?
Hold on, because I wanted to bring up Just Pearly Things, and Lauren Southern is going through a thing on Twitter. See, Quiz, you gotta sometimes this Twitter drama. Okay, so wait, HGH3 and
Ethan
like,
Ethan brought Pearl onto one of his podcasts, and the entire time he's just like clowning on her because it's so easy to clown on her. But like I said, how retarded do you have to be for Ethan to be the person that backs you into a corner?
dude, Ethan got wow, what happened? She got DKO or something. What is it?
Yeah.
This is because even she had posted something. I don't know. She's been posting a lot of weirdo things on Twitter about relationship. I mean, that's her.
Well, yeah,
shtick, I
I
guess.
saw.
She the
Yeah,
insane
we
one
both.
that keeps on saying shit that she thinks is
TKO. Well, you know what, sir? I'm trying this different type of marijuana right now.
Let's say
Um,
Eagle balls,
yeah.
my guys, Eagle balls.
So-
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was trying to say TKO or if he was trying to say RKO.
RKO.
Well, either way, RKO. So no, like for her in particular, and yes, Sanguine, you're right. Weibo's interacted with her quite a bit on Twitter lately, and that's where I've
Yeah,
been seeing some of that.
yeah, that's where I was seeing
She's
it.
yeah, Pearl is like her most biggest claim to fame, at least here recently, is the fact that she is one of these people that likes to say that divorce should be banned, and then like she's trying to be super trad and failing miserably. And then her other big claim to fame is that she had a podcast where she brought on Nick Fuentes and just basically let him say whatever the fuck he wanted. Never challenged him, never talked about anything, and he's just sitting there just like white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy because it's Nick Fuentes.
See, with that second one, there's ways that you can make that work. Like, people used to get on Bering's case because every time that Bering talked to someone, he just talked to them and he let them dig their own fucking hole.
I mean, that can work for some people. It's just that, like, when you don't go around challenging anything, they probably are going to be more tactfully avoiding subjects that they would dig themselves their own hole on.
And that was where Bering did a fantastic job, because Bering would let
I've seen Bering fail in that regard too. I have seen Bering fail in that regard too. Not very often. Bering is better at it than definitely fucking Pearl. But no, I've seen Bering fail in that too. I think that when it comes down to it, having those sorts of people onto a show is all well and good, but you need to control the conversation.
I would say that the best way of handling someone who believes and espouses abhorrent things is to kind of prod them along the path without them realizing it, of just saying their most abhorrent shit, so that everyone has no fucking doubt.
Well, hold on. This is where I was kind of pointing at, like, with at least Pearl and Lauren Southern. I'm pretty sure Weebelo Jamovsky. No, Weebs. And I'm only giving you
not
Weebs because no, I'm only giving her griefs because she's a local and we can.
Yeah.
But they're coming at relationships and dating in two different terms, and I would, and again, this is just purely an observation, but it's because of where they're going at it. I mean, look at what Pearl does for her content. I mean, she's interviewing people, and again, she's going to focus on these types of people who are purely into hookup culture. So they have a very warped view of dating and relationships. And when she's making these comments, and then you get people like Lauren Southern or Weebs saying stuff like, traditional relationships, they're looking at it from a different point of view as well. So it's you're not going to really, I don't know, you're not going to really find comparison with them, because it's just goes against what they're, I guess, producing. I guess you're not. That's what their whole shows are about, right? I guess not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it just kind of like shines a light on the grift, then, if that's the case.
Whoa, hey, I didn't want to use that word. I was.
No, I will. Fuck them. I don't care.
Well, you
come at me, bitch.
You also say fuck Susan, so, and I dare.
Yeah.
I hear her tapping out my window in the middle of the night.
Like a cryptid.
You better not be saying fuck Susan. I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Oh, hey, Kefki.
But yeah,
But yeah,
like I said, the way that I think about it is if someone's able to ask the right questions without directly challenging someone, they are far more likely to get them to say shit that will make everyone immediately go, "Whoa, the fuck was that?" Whereas
I don't
if
know.
you're challenging them constantly, they tend to turtle and they tend to do the shit of, well, I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just asking fucking questions. I'm just trying to figure out what the problem with this is. You're trying to stop me. Because there are people
The
that will talk
Well,
about
Pearl
crime
did
rates,
that.
for instance.
Pearl did that. Like one of the things that she said was that accounts of slavery were overestimated, and Ethan trapped her in there. He's all like, "Well, what do you mean by that? Like, explain that."
Oh, yeah.
And she
And
couldn't.
like I said, I'm not defending Pearl. I'm just saying that there's this idea of, well, if you have certain sorts of people on, you have to challenge them. And I hate that idea because when you challenge people,
I
they tend
think I
to
think that
turtle and pull back to the most
it's more
defensible
nuanced than that.
position that they
It's
can.
more it's more nuanced than that. I mean, one of my absolute favorites. God rest his soul, and the smut that he did later on in his life. But Jerry Springer had a really good show back when one of my teachers in high school was in high school, and she went on the show. It was something about like white supremacists, neo Nazis, sort of thing. And mind you, I went to a school that was mostly Jewish. And
Yep.
so, there was a bit where she was part of the audience, but she was asked to come up on stage and interview these neo Nazis, and it was good content in the fact that she was challenging
Damn
their view.
Illinois
And
Nazis.
damn Illinois Nazis, fucking Illinois Nazis.
I hate
But
Illinois Nazis.
I hate Illinois Nazis. But that's the sort of stuff I see that, and I'm all like, we need some of that and less of the just espouse your opinion and then not say anything about it. Because I mean, I'm the kind of person that when I hear someone say some pretty horrendous shit, I'll say, "Fuck you, buddy. What you just said is bullshit. You can go fuck yourself, dude." So I don't know.
Yeah, but the way that I view it is that you'll get more people that do the fuck you, buddy, if they're actually allowed to speak and if the rope is freely let out for them. Whereas if you are immediately jumping on them, then it becomes like I said, there's people that talk about crime stats, and they talk about crime stats legitimately. That we do have a problem with crime. We do have a problem with crime in certain communities more than other communities. And the correct way of looking at that is, okay, there's some sort of cultural element that is at the root of this. Not a genetic element, a cultural element. Whereas you'll have other people that they're going, nope, it's because they're an inferior sort of people. And if you immediately jump on them, they're able to very easily do I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we need to start asking these questions. I'm just asking questions. And you see this with the extremist views in a fuck ton of different things. You have a religious extremist. And once they start getting sufficient pushback, if they're a clever religious extremist, not all of them are, in fact, a good chunk aren't, but some of them are, they'll start trying to couch everything in the most permissive fashion that they can, in the version that will sound the best to everyone. Whereas if they're just being asked, so, what do you believe? Why do you believe that? Can you go into greater detail about this aspect? They'll start to feel a bit more friendly, and they'll start saying the insane shit that they actually believe without trying to couch it. And that couching it is where a lot of the problem comes in. Because that was a problem that early atheists were actually pushing back against the religious right that was in its ascendancy at the time. And it was pushing for some pretty insane shit. But once people started immediately jumping on them for when they said something that was insane, a lot of clever ones started shifting how they were talking about what they were saying. And they started making it much more tame so that more people would feel involved. And some atheists realized this and realized how to handle it. Others kept on jumping at them like, no, fuck you, this is what you actually believe. And it made it so that there were a bunch of people that were smoke screening. And some of them realized that they were smoke screening. Some of them didn't realize that they were smoke screening. Because it sounded like they were being attacked when they weren't. So they started going, whoa, what are you saying? Not all Christians believe this, not all Christians believe that, not all Christians do this, that, or the other. Not realizing that the person that was being dealt with did. And you have the same in a lot of different groups. You have the people that are avowed white supremacists that when they're pushed back on sufficiently, they start going, well, don't you think the Germans have a right to be proud of their history? Don't you think that the English have a right to be proud of their history? That the Irish have a right to be proud of their history? When that's not what they mean. And everyone knows that's not what they fucking mean. But because they got pushed back sufficiently before they could actually state their position, so that they couldn't just retreat to the softer position, it became really easy for them to hide and to hold up someone else.
Well, a clever person could also throw that back in their face. A German has a right to be proud of their history? Well, ask a German. I guarantee you they'll say no.
And that still doesn't actually... The fact that a group isn't proud of their history does not mean that their history has nothing to be proud of.
Well, that's the thing is, like, you see this argument a lot, especially with people in Germany. Hi, Captain, by the way.
Hello.
Germans themselves are relegated to this sort of thing as a cultural identity in their own country, that they're not allowed to have German pride. And I've seen this interaction I've seen this kind of thing come up quite a bit from Germans, is that they're really jealous of Americans. Americans do have, national pride.
Yeah, and I think that it was rather damaging that we did that when it came.
Well, the major thing for Germans is the fact that a lot of people when they look at that, they realize that this national shame that they have for both world wars and so on and so forth is indelible to their identity as Germans. And I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing, but I also don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing either. Because as Americans,
sorry,
as indelible as it is forever linked and can never not be associated with.
Okay.
And see, that's the thing, is that we have that same sort of thing here in America with slavery. And that's the reason why there's so many persistent things that stick around for so long, even though they shouldn't. We have a national shame for having slavery for as long as we did.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people that can't move on from it. And then there's others that want to move on from it. And it should always be remembered That's the thing. It should always be remembered because what's the adage? The adage? Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
So-
always be remembered does not mean the same as to feel shame by it.
Well, no. Okay. No specific person should feel shame unless they, have a history for it. But I'm saying from a national shame because
And
that is a national shame.
I think
Same with the
that-
Vietnam War. If you want to get
I
less.
think that it should be far more clearly demarcated because if that should be a national shame, then it should also be a point of pride that we got rid of slavery so quickly.
I agree. That the national shame should also go with a national pride for the fact that we have gone and evolved after that. I think that's
And
one thing that is indelibly linked with Americans too, is the fact that we built a system that can correct those sorts of things.
And the problem is that when most people talk about events like that, they're all for the shame. But the moment that
they're never for
bring
forgiveness.
up
Yes.
that, well, that did happen. And it was horrendous that it happened. But
Yes.
we changed.
We've moved on. Yes,
And
we've
we should
moved
be
on. We've changed.
extremely proud of
Yes.
the change. And they'll start going, oh, no, fuck you. You don't get to. No, fuck you. You don't get to tell someone that they should be ashamed without having.
At the same time,
Sorry.
I can sit there and say we have an American shame for slavery. On a personal level, I can sit there and say, well, you know what? You should be thanking me because I have, for both sides of my family, fought for the Union to end slavery. They were both abolitionists.
I would say that we should have, at the very least, a profound regret that it was a thing.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say shame. And a national shame should be something where you regret the circumstances that happened. Now, and the thing about it is too is that like it's an inherited system. It's an inherited system. These people inherited everything when it came down to it from England.
Yep,
and so, but does England have a national shame? They should.
Hold on. You gotta remember, a lot of these people are looking at it like national shame should be you should prostrate yourself whenever somebody demands it. This is what they're
that's not
because honestly, like this is it's nonsense to even think about. Like, yes, shit happened in the past. Okay, like we're here now. You don't have to sit there and be like, "Oh, I am sorry for the things that happened in my past."
Yeah.
That's the thing is that I'm not saying any single person needs to apologize for anything. I'm saying the country.
I think that you and I have a different definition of what shame is. Because
I'm saying from a country's national identity.
But
for me, shame is a big dude with a big red beard.
The shame. Go ahead, Kefke.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I just wanted to play devil's advocate for a minute. Just to kind of get this out here. The people that are like, you can't feel pride for getting rid of it being gone, they're the type of people like, well, it never should have happened in the first place. You're just correcting what you did wrong. You should feel shame. You're off, that kind of thing. You see? They're thinking that way.
Yeah. But they're also thinking that way while only applying that in very specific realms.
Well, the other problem. The other problem also comes down to the fact that these people like to assign blame to a people, like to everyone, when it's way more nuanced and complex than that. Yeah. It's not. It's like I said. I think the major thing that you guys are maybe skipping over when I say it. I'm saying it in as little words as possible, but national shame. Doesn't mean
like
anything to a people. Doesn't mean anything to a culture. It means like for a historical perspective of the country.
I understand
That is a
what you're
shameful
saying
period.
with that. I understand what you're saying with that, Inquisitor. My contention is shame means something different than what I think it means to you. To me, it means something different than what I think it means to you. Because to me, a shame, if you are shamed, that is not just an intense regret about something. That isn't just a, yeah, we really fucked up. A shame about something is the, I can never fucking show my face. I need to hide. I need to get away. I can never be decent again.
Yeah, no, that's not okay. The definition of shame: a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. It does not mean that you can't find contrition for it, or that even that there shouldn't be contrition for it.
In the denotative definition, yes. In the connotative definition, quite often, no.
That doesn't make any sense. Not to me.
Oh.
Yeah. Any shame that you feel,
do you know the difference
any
between
shame you feel, you can have contrition for.
Do you know the difference between
That's the whole
and connotative? Because that's the crux of what I'm saying. Because a denotative definition and a connotative definition can be different. Like, the denotative definition of a nerd is something very, very basic, like someone with an elevated intelligence that also has an obsessive interest. The connotative definition of a nerd contains the denotative definition, but then it has this added bit of stank on it.
Oh, damn. See,
where it's something
I'm
that
both. I have an interest, but I also have a stink.
so you can have, and actually you can have two different warring connotative definitions, because you have some people that will use nerd, and they'll only use nerd in the most glowing of terms.
Sanguine, I mean this in the most positive way. Okay? That's a you problem. If you have a problem with the word shame, okay, and you are attributing connotative problems with it, that is not what I mean at all when I say that word, but unfortunately, again, it is a you problem.
Which is why
not a definition problem.
No, because that's why I said when we use the word shame, I think that we're using it in two very different manners. So I would not say that we should have a national shame. I would say that, yes, we should have an intense national regret. The reason why I will not say shame is because I have this connotative definition of shame.
I am so confused.
So,
sorry.
What I'm saying is,
do you not see that shame and regret both are synonyms of each other and mean pretty much the same thing?
They can be. They are not always.
Again, this is. I think you're quibbling too much here. Lady Duff protests too much, methinks.
No, this is a common usage of shame. There are many people that feel regret about something that they did, but shame is to a much greater degree than regret.
Well,
so
regret.
You're saying that shame is like, okay, I feel regret that I did this action, but then you feel even more strongly and intense shame? I'm trying to understand.
So regret would be you feel like you did something wrong, and if you could, you would withdraw that action.
Okay.
The connotative version of shame, which is one that a fair chunk of people tend to use when they use shame, And that's why a lot of people say that they regret things rather than they were shamed by certain things. It's a far more intense, to the point where you feel dirty. So you can regret being late.
All right, you
Very
know what?
few people will be shamed by being late.
Well,
Sanguine.
I was thinking, don't
Sanguine.
they go together? Usually they're part and parcel of the same
Well,
feeling, though, right?
okay, even both ways. Look, I'm
I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna order the chocolate shake by
Why?
Uber Eats because you know what? I both would regret it, and it would be a shameful act because a large chocolate shake from Steak and Shake would not be a good thing to order right now.
You go to
Why
waste.
not? It's always a good order. A chocolate shake is always great. What are you talking about? Have you
No,
lost your mind?
because shame and regret
What?
is
Do not feel shame for loving the chocolate. It is
no.
wonderful.
He's saving me.
Remorse,
This is a good thing.
repentance.
What?
Beg for contrition, Adam. Beg for contrition.
Yes, beg for
You will not be
contradiction,
absolved.
Beg for contradiction.
You will not be absolved.
Yeah, you will not be dissolved.
Dissolved.
That's the thing when it comes to shame.
Shame, exactly.
Again, Sanguine, I mean this in the nicest. I mean this in the nicest way possible. You know I don't hate you. You know I don't. You know I have nothing against you, Sanguine. But it is a you problem because it is not what I mean. It is you are reading way too much into it.
And again,
They're synonyms. They mean the same thing.
Disagree with the assessment that it's a me problem, because it's not like I'm saying, how fucking dare you say that we should be ashamed. I said, I think that we mean two different things when we say shame. And then I explained what I mean when I say shame, and why I can understand what you're saying, and I can understand that you're using them interchangeably. To me, I will not use them as such because they are not interchangeable to me. So when I say that, yeah, I can understand feeling a national regret. And that wording, I have absolutely no problem saying. That wording, I will say quite freely. But a shame to me is far more damaging. So
you believe that you cannot atone from a shame, but there is
not necessarily that you can't atone, but that when you are shamed, you can. So let me explain this in a slightly different way. To me, when you are shamed, you feel as if you cannot atone. It isn't necessarily that you can't atone. It isn't necessarily that you can't come to a point where you realize that you can atone, or even that you have atoned. It's that it has a more profound mark. And even in the definition...
don't get me wrong. There is a profoundness. I mean, like, even in the definition, a painful feeling of humiliation or distress. Yeah, that is pretty profound, but at the same time, there's nothing in the definition or use of the word that means that you cannot ever atone for it.
And again, I'm not saying necessarily that you cannot ever atone for it. I'm saying that when you feel shamed, it's something that, at least for the time that you feel shamed, you feel as if you cannot atone for it.
I don't know, man.
A regret.
I'm sticking with my assessment. Like I said, in the most respect I can possibly muster here, man. It's that's a you problem. It does not change my wording or my usage or anything.
Again, I was not trying to change your wording. I was not trying to change your usage. I was not trying to do any of the things you just claimed I was trying to do there. What I was saying is, when you say shame, you mean something different than when I say shame.
Well, we've been quibbling for, about the definition of a word that's a synonym for the past 20 minutes here. So you want to talk about something else?
Because I got accused of trying to do something I wasn't trying to do, and that
I wasn't accusing you of shit, man.
Except you did it 3 times.
I think he was just trying to say you understand what he's saying, right? Like, he says shame, he means regret, right? That's it?
Yes, and I already,
Yeah.
the first time that I said this, I acknowledged that. When I first said it, I said, you and I are using different definitions of the word shame. This is how I use the word shame. So when I'm talking about the same thing that you are, I'm not going to say shame because it makes no sense in the way that I use for it to be shame. I will use the word intense regret. And yes, I think that we should feel an intense regret. I do not think that we feel shame in the way that I use the word. I don't give a fuck how you use the word. When I use shame, this is how I'm using shame, which is what I said. Which is why I said, I will not say that we should feel shame, because when I say shame, shame means this.
Sanguine, look, dude, you're only arguing with yourself here, man.
I'm not arguing with myself, and Kefki just had a moment of, oh shit, that's what he was saying.
Yeah, he's just saying that when he uses the word regret, it means the same thing as your shame word that he was explaining that, right?
Because, yeah, when I said that
oh
we
my
should
god, my
feel
brain worked.
a intense regret that we participated in slavery, and Inquisitor said, yes, we should feel shame, and I said, I wouldn't go that far, because this is how I use the word shame.
Now, Cougar, I'm ashamed of me too.
Sanguine.
At this
I'm
point,
ashamed
you
of that
fucking
movement
should
as
be.
well.
Sanguine.
Sanguine, you can go fuck yourself, dude. And that's with the most respect possible. You can go fuck yourself.
You knew what you were doing. I
I'll,
feel no regret. Go ahead, Adam.
Wow.
You don't have to explain yourself another time. You've done it once, twice, So
I've done it 5 times, but at least on the 4th time, Kefki got it.
Yes.
I mean,
it took a while,
Assassin does bring up one thing. He says race grifters insist there is no repentance, and that's the problem. Is the fact that you and I are talking about something from we agree on. Is the fact that it's not the fact that there's that there's not the acknowledgement of wrongdoing. It's the fact that there's some people that say that there's no absolution for it, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, they're wrong.
And we fought a war over it.
Mm-hmm.
The bloodiest war in this country's history.
And I've said it before, if there was something that I think that we should feel shame in my usage of shame for as a nation, it is that Teddy Roosevelt lost the argument on the hyphenated American. And that is something that should make us feel dirty. Because it's continued on. Where we keep on using the hyphenated American. We keep on dividing ourselves into ever smaller groups rather than trying to unify in any real fashion. People identify as, well, I'm this flavor of American. I'm that flavor of American, rather than just being a fucking American.
I've always held to the fact that, if you are American, if you were born here, you're American. Period.
Yeah. And look, if you came here with an earnest desire to become
To immigrate. Yeah.
an American, then yeah, congratulations. Once you get your citizenship, you're an American.
Hey,
Welcome aboard. If you hate the country and you have absolutely no interest in being an American, I don't give a fuck what your citizenship is at that point. You've decided that you are apart from America.
if a
Because you
giant
have
five can
placed
go and get a
yourself apart.
citizenship, I think anybody can get a citizenship. Or a white guy dressed as a brown guy.
It's something that annoys the piss out of me every time that it comes up. That we have this caucus in government, we have that caucus, we have this racial caucus, that racial caucus. No, fuck that. Get rid of all the racial caucuses. Get rid of all the sort of markers of that. Really, outside healthcare. Healthcare is the one location that I can understand having those markers. Because, yeah, if you're of African descent, you have different diseases that you're susceptible to. If you're of Asian descent, you have different diseases that you're susceptible to. If you're of European descent, you have different diseases that you're susceptible to. It makes sense in healthcare to actually fractionate in this way, because your origin matters in healthcare. Just like... Go ahead, Kefki.
Oh no, I was just gonna pick at you and say I'm offended. You didn't say mine. You didn't say Native American.
Would you prefer if I had gone for the 3 anthropological races and said if you're Caucasoid, if you're Mongoloid, or if you're Negroid? Because
I don't know what those are.
Those are the 3 anthropological races. So Caucasoid.
Yeah, in terms of anthropological sort of origin of the quote race of humanity, it's broken down into 3: Caucasoid, Negroid, and Mongoloid, and all stems from like the regions of the people. Like a good example of the fact that even though they are brown skinned, they are Caucasoid is people from India and Pakistan.
Oh.
Yep, and then you have, for instance, Native Americans and most of Asia are all categorized as Mongoloid.
Now, if we use this apparatus to...
I couldn't resist.
I called you a little...
She was waiting for it. She was waiting for it. I knew she was. And by the way, Cougar Knife, what are you complaining for? You get 2 Christmases.
Nice. But yeah, there's the anthropological origins or anthropological races. So you could go for those, but like I said, different groups from different areas have
that does tie into the medical sort of thing that you were saying before. Is that it does like in terms of does race matter? In terms of the medical field, yes, for some things, because those kinds of people in that delineation are more susceptible to certain diseases than others.
Yeah,
do I think that has any bearing on?
If you are Eastern European and you aren't of Jewish descent, your chance of having a child with Tay-Sachs is 1% of 1%. Because Tay-Sachs is a genetic condition that is virtually present only in Eastern Europeans and people of Jewish descent. If you're of sub-Saharan African descent, your chance of having sickle cell anemia is much greater than the chance of someone from northern China or southern Europe.
I think it's almost like inconceivable for almost any other person to develop sickle cell anemia, isn't it?
It is
It's something like
rare in every other
yeah.
Just like if you're of European descent, the chance that you're going to be lactose intolerant is very small. It's something like 5% of European descent are lactose intolerant.
Yeah. Whereas Asians, it's massively more common.
If you're of Oriental Asian descent, and I'm using Oriental in the original meaning, where you are from the Orient.
Well, then you obviously mean Occidental Caucasian, then, don't you? Huh? You racist.
Well, no, I have to differentiate the Oriental Asian versus the subcontinental Asian.
Well, for people that don't get that joke, it was Occident means the West, Orient means the East.
Yep.
So.
But yeah,
so if you're gonna say Oriental Asian, then you got to say Occidental Caucasian.
Yeah, but the reason why Oriental was the term for China, Japan, Korea,
because it is the region is called the Orient. Yes,
it's because it's called the Orient, and also it was deemed necessary in order to differentiate when you say Asian, because technically when you say Asian, you could mean subcontinental Asian, which means that you're talking about Indians. You could mean the Middle East, which is in Asia.
Yes.
And those are very different groups. So you would have...
You can even mean Russians, because they're in Asia.
You could mean Russians, since they're in Asia. So the way that it used to be broken up is you had the Middle Eastern, or Arabian, which is another word, but then we narrowed Arabian down to just Arabs. So Middle Eastern became the more common term. Then you had subcontinental, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan.
What's weird is that when these sorts of things kind of became perceived as racist to say is very odd when all you really mean is from a region of the world.
Yep.
Yeah, that is
and
silly.
Is it less or more racist to be broad, to say Asian?
Doesn't matter what country they're from, they're just Asian.
But yeah, so that's even more ridiculous because that's a massive continent with a lot of varying different people.
Yep. So it used to be split into 4 groups because you'd have the 2 that I already covered. Then you'd have Oriental, and then in order to cover the northern portion of Asia, you would have the Siberian, because that entire area is Siberia. So you'd have the Siberians, you'd have the Oriental, you'd have the subcontinental, and then you'd have the Middle Eastern. And that splits each group so that you can very clearly be referring to only one of those sorts of Asia. So yeah, if you're talking about Oriental Asian, then the rate of lactose tolerance is about 5%. So for Caucasians, it's about 5% lactose intolerance. For Oriental Asian, it's about 1 to 5% lactose tolerance.
And see, I don't see how acknowledgement of these medical facts, medical statistics,
medical observations,
especially considering when it's there's no like underlying
There's no judgment
denigration.
in saying
Yeah, there's
that.
no judgment. There's no denigration here. It's all just these are the things that you need to worry about from just who you are and how you were born. That doesn't make any moral judgments on people.
Yeah,
There's no moral judgment on that.
that's the thing. That in those venues, it should be still talked about. Oh, this person is of subcontinental African descent. Because now we know that we need to be more aware that they might have sickle cell anemia. That doesn't mean that you completely ignore the possibility of sickle cell anemia in other groups, but it means that there's other shit that you check first.
Sure.
It's kind of like how I've talked about when it comes to transgender issues. Medical care needs to be entirely sex-based. Because if you have someone come into your ER complaining of stiffness of their neck, a headache, and numbness in one thumb, and they're male, do you know what you check them for?
Heart attack.
Nope, that's if they're female.
No. Stroke.
If they're male, you check their head first. You see if they have a stroke or any sort of traumatic injury to their head and neck. Because with that collection of symptoms, you would check blood pressure, and then you'd start checking the head for any trauma, any sort of blood clots, anything like that in a male. In a female, if she comes in with those symptoms, the very first thing that you do, hook her ass up to a heart rate monitor.
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
in women, stiffness in the neck, a headache, and then referred pain with spotty numbness are 4 of the most common symptoms for women having a heart attack.
Oh God!
And
The
the
next
thing-
time I have a headache, I'm gonna freak out.
It's only if you have a collective of those things all happening at once that you should really start going, oh, I should get checked out. If you
That
just
doesn't
have a
stop
headache,
anxiety, my friend.
Yeah.
true. But if you just have a headache, it's just a headache. But that's one of the important things. And that's why when people say, well, I should just be treated how I want to identify everywhere, including by medical professionals. No, that could kill you.
That could cause you. Yes, you could die. You want to pay attention to what you were. The genetics that you have is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
You want to pay attention to genetics.
And there's nothing
You don't wanna
wrong
die.
with that idea either. I mean, it's when the lobby and all of the people are coming out and sitting there saying that my gender is this, my gender is that, my gender is this. It doesn't change, like, and this is nothing to do with like how people treat you or anything like that. It's purely down to the fact that when you go in for medical treatment, sex matters. And you tell them your sex, and then they can treat you more efficiently and effectively. Triage is a thing. So it has nothing to do with society accepting you for whatever gender that you want to be, or you feel you are, or any of that kind of stuff. Like use whatever descriptors or any pronouns, whatever. None of that matters in the medical field.
Yep. It's kind of
Yeah,
like
just look at
surprise,
genetics.
surprise. If you're non-hermaphroditic male, your chance of ovarian cancer is 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're a non-hermaphroditic female, your chance of testicular cancer is 0.
Mhm. So there's no need to check for that stuff.
Yeah.
So just check. Yeah, tell them what your genetics are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there's certain tests that will only need to be performed on women. There's certain tests that will only need to be performed on men. There's certain tests that need to be performed on both, but different symptoms have a different order of operations. Because if you treated every man that has the stiff neck, the headache, and then a bit of numbness in one part of their body as a heart attack first and foremost, they're dead. They probably just stroked out or they had a intracranial hemorrhage. If you treat every woman like they have a traumatic injury or a stroke during that, well, the woman's probably dead because you didn't fix her heart attack.
Mm. I think I have a great idea. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Hear me out, hear me out. We're going to take both of those and we're just going to label genetics A, genetics B. You either have genetics A or genetics B. There you go.
Well, it all comes down
Not
to
insulting.
the fact that that I fully agree with the assessment, so long as it's actually being followed. Is that your gender is what you identify as? Sure, okay, I agree with that. You can do that, but your sex is what you were born as, because that does make a difference in treating you medically, like it or not.
Sex has to be that, because if you try to fiddle fuck with it at all, you're going to end up
And not every treatment is entirely based around your sex either, but it definitely helps doctors diagnose you, which is the important part of their job.
Which is what I'm saying, that if you try to remove that, you're going to end up killing people. There's no way around it. You're going to end up killing people.
Well, the
That's
other
what I'm
thing,
saying. Just make it. Sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say another thing in trans issues as well is the fact that one of the things when Donald Trump was in office that got passed was the declassification of gender dysphoria as a mental illness.
Yep, which
so it means that these people can't get the therapy that they need.
That is horrible. Yeah,
because there was an argument very early on when it came to this that won a lot of people over, which was it's a brain-body disconnect. And there was some preliminary research that was, at the time, showing that there is a brain-body disconnect. Where it was, you would have a masculinized brain in a feminized body. So a brain that seemed more masculine if you were just looking at the brain in a woman's body. Or you'd have a feminized brain in a masculine body. And we had brain scans that were indicating that this was likely the case. Those studies were killed. They were just stopped.
Why?
Because they were showing that there was a difference between male brains and female brains.
Okay.
And you can't say that there's a difference between male brains and female brains.
Oh, good grief. But the whole dysphoria thing is real. It makes me angry because there are people that need treatment for that, and now they're not going to get it.
And the way that it always came down was with the brain-body disconnect. If that is the actual origin, which, like I said, there was research indicating that there was a fair chance that that was the origin of the issue, then you would have one of two different lines of treatment. Actually, it had more than one or two, but you'd have one of two extreme lines of treatment. Let's phrase it that way. So you would have the 100% body treatment, and you would have the 100% brain treatment. The 100% body treatment would be, okay, we leave the brain how it is, and we change the body 100%, thus getting rid of the disconnect. Because if it was a feminized brain in a male body, and we make it a feminized brain in a female body, there's no disconnect there.
Right.
If You have a masculinized brain in a female body, and you make it a masculinized brain in a male body. There's no disconnect there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So option one was the entire body approach. The difficult thing is that we don't have the ability to 100% swap over a body like that. So, but we can do a fair bit of work towards that end. We just can't get it 100%. So,
Mm-hmm.
there will still be some problems. Option two of the extreme options was the entire brain approach, which was the exact opposite of the body approach. Rather than swapping over the body 100%, swap over the brain 100%. Now you have male brain, male body, good to go. Female brain, female body, good to go. But the thing is that we have virtually no fucking ability at the current state of neurological science to fiddle fuck with a brain like that.
Yeah, that's. I was about to say that's gonna be nigh impossible. It'd be easier to do the body.
So what you end up having to do, because you can't do the body 100%, and you just functionally can't do the brain, you end up having to do the very few elements of the brain that you can, and the elements of the body that you can, to bring them as close as you can. You won't get it 100%, but you can get it far closer.
Mm.
But the thing is that in order to justify that, you have to have a diagnostic criteria.
Mm.
And that was where the scans were really promising originally. Because if you had a scan that had an extremely high rate of success, an extremely high rate of accuracy, and high rate of precision, because those are two terms that a lot of people use interchangeably. They are not interchangeable, at least not in science. Accuracy and precision mean two very different things. One is, so if you're thinking about a target in archery, one of them means how close all your arrows are together. One of them means how close your arrows are to the center of the actual target. So you can be precise but not accurate. You can be accurate but not precise. You can be neither, and you can be both. So if we had an accurate and precise brain scan that we could diagnose people with,
a better analogy for that would be that accuracy is about being able to get a result that you want, getting a result that is conclusive, whereas precision is getting a result that you want 100% of the time.
So it's a difference in getting a result and getting the exact result that you
neither
require.
of those are quite right. So when it comes down to it, you have how close every time that you do the test is one of the measures. So if you have, okay, let's say that you're measuring something, and I give you a ruler to measure the distance between two dots on a piece of paper. But unknown to you, I shave off a 1/12 of an inch in every inch measure on that ruler. Every time that you measure out the distance between those two dots on the paper, you'll get the same answer, as long as you're using the ruler properly, right? But that answer will not be right, because every single measure that you took was done with a tool that was not reading properly. So you have all your answers are grouped up together, nice and close. So you come back and you tell me that it's 11 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Because you looked at the ruler, and every time that you set it up, it was at the 11-inch hash on the ruler.
Mm-hmm.
All your answers really close together. But they aren't right. Now let's say that I give you a ruler that it ends up being exactly as it should be. There's no change to its measure. So all
Okay,
of
you
your
didn't mess with
answers
this ruler. It's perfect.
Yep, this is a
Okay.
completely bog standard ruler. So all your answers are going to be the same, and all your answers are going to be right.
Uh-huh.
So that is both accuracy and precision are high.
Okay, I
Then
think.
let's say, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. I think I understand. Yes.
Yep. And then let's say that in the third instance, I give you a ruler, but unbeknownst to you, I have you quickly check how far the dots are on the paper with the ruler. Then I have you step out of the room. I have you walk back in a second later, measure the dots again. I have you step out. I have you come back in, measure the dots again, and I give you 3 different times to measure the dots. But what I don't tell you is that one of the times, the ruler that I give you adds a 1/12 of an inch to every measure.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you messing up my rulers? I'm just trying to measure the dots, Sanguine.
One of
sorry.
the times, it subtracts a 1/12 of an inch,
Ah!
and one of the times, it gives you the right measure.
How do I know which one's right?
Well, here's the thing. We take the average of the 3, and you get the right answer. And all your answers are clustered around the right answer. But there's a spread to them.
Welcome to
now
math.
you have one that had all your answers were consistent and incorrect. All your answers were consistent and correct. And all your answers were inconsistent but correct.
Okay, I know how to fix this right now. I'm just going to reach into my pants and pull out my trusted pocket ruler to measure it.
So,
sorry. It was a
that's
bad joke.
3 of the cases that I told you about. But I said that you can have a case where accuracy and precision are both faulty. So
you have to add the numbers and then to figure out which.
Your fourth instance is going to be that I again have you, just like every other time, measure out the distance between these dots 3 times.
3 times in a row? Without having to walk out?
Nope, you're going to be walking out of the room in between every time. So, the first time, a 1/12 of an inch is removed from every inch on the ruler. So you come in, you measure it out, you give me an incorrect measure because your ruler is not reading appropriately. So you leave, I subtract another 1/12 of an inch, you come back in, and you measure, and you give me a different answer than the first time, but it's still wrong.
Ooh!
Yep, this is the target example, where you have accuracy and precision all closely grouped in the center. You have accuracy but no precision, which is all the dots are clustered around the center but not in the center. You have precision but not accurate, where all of them are very close together but nowhere near the center. And then you have a lack of both, where they're just all over the fucking target. And that's what I was saying. Well,
okay.
So each of those, or those 2 things mean a different thing. So if you had a test for gender dysmorphia that was accurate and precise, then the number of people that would have a problem with treating it would be greatly diminished.
Mhm.
Problem is, we currently have a test that might not be accurate or precise. So
Oh,
there's a
that's
lot
not
of
good.
people that have problems with it.
Huh.
I mean, the major thing, when it comes down to it, is the fact that right now it being, declassified as a mental illness means that there is no way that people will get diagnosed in any sort of
Oh yeah,
meaningful way.
Yeah, they won't get help.
right
And
now it's absolutely fucked because it isn't even being tested really.
uh,
No, you just walk in and say you have it, and they treat you for it,
Before
but
it went
or
to
just
that,
outright refuse.
before it went to that level of insanity, there
One or the
was
other.
a time when it might have been accurate, might have been precise, might have been inaccurate but precise, might have been inaccurate, or sorry, might have been accurate but imprecise, might have been imprecise and inaccurate. We didn't know. We didn't have a good test. But we had a better testing criteria than we currently do. And a good chunk
seriously,
of
somebody could just walk in, seriously, and say, "This is what I have."
people have.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, like it,
Oh,
it depends. It depends on the professional you
Air.
go to,
uh,
and yeah, they can just kind of choose to either follow it or not.
oh, that's dangerous. That's
It can
self-diagnosis
be.
is dangerous. People are gonna get themselves hurt.
Yep.
Yep.
That
And also, we're doing this with rather young children. Children are very easily manipulated,
mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
which is why anytime that someone tries to say, well, no, my child's known that they were transgender ever since they were 2. No, they didn't. This is now terrifying that you believe this. And that's a problem that's been going on with this. What we need to do is we need to develop a proper testing criteria, especially since the treatments currently aren't really reversible.
No, no.
And if you're going to give irreversible treatment, you damn sure better know what the fuck you're doing.
Mm-hmm. There's already so many people whose lives have been ruined by this, because you hear about people trying to detransition because they convinced themselves that this was it.
Yep.
Yeah, like
And then they
it's
realize at
awful.
some point, oh god, I fucked up.
Yeah, and then they can't do anything about it to fix it. That's
Yep.
awful. They need to test people to make sure so they don't mess themselves up.
Yep. And that was the thing that really pissed me off when those brain scan tests were halted, because that was done
Uh-huh.
ages ago. And it was really promising research. And then they just killed it. Because people took issue with the fact that it was saying that there were differences between male brains and female brains. And you can't say that there's differences between male brains and female brains, because if there's differences between male brains and female brains, then it might not just be sexism
Mm.
that causes everything. It might be that, yeah, there's certain jobs that men are more likely to take on, there's certain jobs that women are more likely to take on, and it's kind of baked into their fucking biology.
Mm. Yeah. You would, but yeah, it's just so crazy because you would want to know if you have a mismatch brain and body, and you would want to be able to treat it as best as you could. And if you don't have a mismatched brain and body, and you go in for treatment for a mismatch, that's going to screw you over. It's
Yeah. And if it turns out that you thought it was that you had this one issue, but really you have an entirely different issue, And that's the test that makes them realize, oh shit, we should test them for this. And you find a valid treatment for what's causing you problems. I'm going to mute Adam. I think he just zonked out hard.
You okay, Adam?
But yeah, so it's something that is just infuriating when they started doing that. And it's one of the things that drives me crazy with a lot of the new DSM, because they did silly shit with a lot of different criteria and a lot of different diagnoses. For instance, technically, what I'm diagnosed as doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah. What I was diagnosed with eons ago is not even the same thing anymore. So,
yeah. I have
it's
Asperger's
weird.
syndrome. I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome,
Yeah.
and they decided to get rid of Asperger's syndrome as a diagnosis.
They
then rolled it into high-functioning autism.
Uh-huh.
The problem is, high-functioning autism is and was different than what was Asperger's syndrome.
Why did they do this?
Because they've been expanding the definition of autism consistently over the past few decades.
But it is different.
Yeah,
you need different treatments for this.
But let me explain how ridiculous this has gotten, Kafki. So, you know what autism is, right?
Yes.
You've heard of it before. So, the symptoms that are most often associated with autism are you'll have someone that is hypo to asocial. So, hypo means low, and A means not. So, you have someone who is less social than a standard person, or is not at all social.
Okay.
Some of the aspects that are the hypo to asocial characteristics of autism are avoidance of eye contact. So rather than looking at someone's eyes, they'll try to avoid looking at the eyes. Sometimes they'll look somewhat close, but not at the eye. Sometimes they'll just be looking all the fuck around, trying to avoid even catching a glimpse of a person's eye.
Okay.
You'll have hyperfixation. That's a common aspect of Asperger's syndrome was hyperfixation. Where
my ex-best friend, he has Asperger's, and he get fixated on things. Yeah.
Yep. If people that had Asperger's syndrome would often get obsessive interests. That is also something that's seen in some high-functioning autistics, but not all. You had a lot of sensory avoidance conditions were packed in. So some people would have tactile avoidance. So, for instance, someone might hate the feel of certain fabrics. Someone might hate the texture of certain foods. You have scent avoidance. You hate certain smells, and you just can't tolerate them at all. And it's not standard things that smell bad, but it's just a random smell that is specific to the person. So, for instance, someone might have a chocolate avoidance, where the smell of chocolate just throws them right the fuck off. But you have all these different symptoms. You have some people also had a need for effectively compression.
Like being squeezed.
Yeah, being squeezed. So there's actually
Neat.
a machine that started getting made in the 2000s that was known as
Mm.
a hugger
Huh.
because it was just this very, very basic mechanical device that would just, when a person activated it,
Mhm.
squeeze the person,
Oh, they had a
and it would squeeze
squishomatic.
them. Yeah, it would squeeze them for a specific amount of time, and then it would release.
Mhm.
And it was sold for people that had that compulsion.
Mhm. Like weighted blankets. Like yeah,
Yep.
like people. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of these symptoms. Like I said, most of them fall in hypo to asocial. They would have another really good example that is shared by autism and Asperger's syndrome was a in extreme difficulty to inability to understand facial expression.
Mhm.
So this was part of the testing that I went through when I ended up popping as a Spurg. It was a deck of cards that had a series of different emotions pictured on the card, or on each card. It would be one emotion. So you'd see someone
Mhm.
laughing, you'd see someone crying, you'd see someone looking sad. And the diagnosing psychiatrist or psychologist would flip over a card and ask you what emotion the person was feeling.
Mhm.
And they would do somewhere between 10 or 20 cards in a standard test.
Mhm.
I think I had 20 cards flipped, and they'd give you an option of three emotions and pick the one that was the appropriate emotion.
Oh, so it's basically teaching you how to recognize the
Well,
facial expressions with what
it's
emotion.
testing to see if you can recognize. And then one of the
Oh.
treatments or one of the therapies is actually teaching you facial expressions. And
Oh.
when I had that particular bit of testing done, I scored something like 5 to 8 out of 20.
Is that not very good, or is that bad?
That is a. So at 5%, or at 5 out of 20, I got a 25% score. At 8 out of 20, I got a 40% score.
Mm.
So using standard test grading, 100% is what you're shooting for.
Okay.
And I got a quarter to 40%.
Mm.
So really bad testing result for that.
Mm.
That was one of the things that they made, or that even the person testing me kind of went, "Oh, shit, okay," wrote it down.
Mhm.
But so those were the symptoms of this beforehand. So there's been new criteria for autism that has come out,
Mm.
where they've decided that not only is there hypo to asocial autism, but there's also hypersocial autism.
Mhm.
So hypo means low or less. Hyper means high or more.
Okay.
So now you have a disorder that is a hypersocial and hypo slash asocial disorder. So the
But.
eye contact symptom that I mentioned, where it's the avoidance
Mhm.
of eye contact, that meant that the symptoms ranged from obsessively maintaining eye contact at the high end to complete avoidance of eye contact at the low end. Do you notice the problem with that?
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. contradicting itself.
And the biggest problem is that range includes perfectly fucking normal.
Normal, yes. Yeah, I was thinking that. That how do you differentiate then? Mm.
Well, that would be a bad criteria, but normally, if there's one bad criteria in a battery of tests, you can rely on the other criteria in order to help you figure it out. So,
Mhm.
let's go on to another one of the symptoms. So, I mentioned the difficulty reading facial expression. Well, now that it's a hyper and hyper to asocial disorder, the new criteria is that you can have at the high end a almost completely empathic ability to read emotions, to at the low end not understanding that other people have emotions.
Huh. That's
So you might notice again there's a problem with this.
yeah, the same problem as it was with the other
Yeah, it
category. That's
includes normal again, doesn't it?
yeah, it does.
Well, let's move on to third one. So you have in the sensory avoidance used to be the criteria, but now you have hyperfixation on a sensory input
Mm.
to sensory avoidance. So at the high end, a person would start to go out of sorts if they don't constantly feel certain fabrics, if they don't constantly get certain tastes, get certain smells, things like that. And at the low end, if they get any feel of the fabric, it puts them off.
That includes normal again.
Yeah, it includes normal.
What the fuck? Pardon, what the fudgicles?
And the thing is that for most of the criteria for autism now, it is everyone.
uh, uh, so then that means there is no such thing as autism anymore, and that because they've just normalized it. I don't know. That's so weird.
They've just so expanded the category that it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, everybody falls into that category now. It's like you like cookies and cream ice cream, you're autistic.
Because one of the things that used to be a noted element of the difference between Asperger's syndrome and autism was Asperger's syndrome typically fared rather well in academic settings.
Mm-hmm.
Autism fared extremely poorly.
Huh.
So they separated out those two, and then they had
Mm-hmm.
high functioning autism, which didn't do as well as Asperger's syndrome, but did much better than autism, and had more symptoms in common with autism than it did Asperger's syndrome, so it became high functioning autism.
Mm.
And they added that as a third category. But that still had clear distinctions between each of the three.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started getting rid of those. They started blurring the
But
distinctions.
why? But why? You're just ruining all this hard work that people have done and research and what makes it worse is that you're messing up people's lives. They won't be able to get treatment. The same with the we were talking about the brains in the wrong body. People are not going to be able to get treatment.
Yep, exactly.
And they're not going to live good quality lives.
Yep,
this is stupid.
That is exactly the problem. You got it in one without having to have it just stated. But this is something that has been done fairly consistently with a lot of different diagnostic criteria.
Oh my gosh.
When it comes to a variety of mental health issues and social health issues. which is one of the big issues. And they've been doing this with other things. So the criteria for ADHD has become broader.
Mm.
So more people are getting diagnosed as ADHD than are ADHD.
Yeah.
Which is where we got a lot of the issues of, a 10-year-old boy is a bit rambunctious in class. I think he might have ADHD. Started coming in.
Well, I mean, I understand that ADHD it will present itself differently in females and males. That they should classify it. They should have that bit to recognize what is. But then when you clump everything together, I don't know what my brain was trying to say. It went right out my ear. This is stupid.
Yeah, it is madness what has been done with a lot of it.
Yes.
And what should have been done is make sure that your diagnostic criteria are as narrow as it can be while being useful. Because if you go too broad, then it becomes... Or if you go too narrow, then it becomes useless. Because once you reach the point where effectively you're diagnosing me as, well, you're sanguine. That doesn't have any fucking utility. Because you've made the criteria so narrow that it's every person has their own criteria. But you want to have it as narrow and as broad as is useful. So you want it to only include specific people, and you want to include those people that should be included.
You know, this just really make. I mean, I don't really like psychiatrists and doctors like that. Lodi hates them. We both aren't very fond of them. And this just makes it worse. I have absolutely no faith in what's going on now. And yeah, it's just like, why bother?
I think that there's several different contributing factors that go into it as well. I mean, some of it as benign or even with good intent. You know, that people don't want there to be this long, lengthy process from which that they need to take these endless series of tests to be able to get their proper diagnosis to try and get onto these treatments. I get that sort of thing.
Some people trying to streamline, and that causes problems when they over-streamline.
Yeah, and at the same time, you also have some people that are predatory. They see this sort of thing. They want to lax it so that they can just write out prescriptions, and they get a cut from every prescription. You know,
that's what Cougar Knife said. They get paid the more they find and treat the issues.
And that was, in my opinion, that was the major problem that we had in the 90s, why there were so many kids that were getting misdiagnosed with ADD and ADHD. Because I mean, there was a time where I was going to school and there wasn't a single one of my friends who wasn't on Ritalin.
Yeah, I got diagnosed with that. I don't have it. They put me on Ritalin. That screwed my world over. Oh.
And I think it sucks too, because both of those sorts of things are coming at it from a position of either wanting to do good or the people that just don't care. And the problem is that when both of those sorts of ideals come together for the same purpose, it leads to nothing good. Nothing good.
Yeah.
And also there was people were trying to draw similarities between things, because what I would have full-throatedly advocated for is there are certain disorders that should have been given a name that were similar but not the same to autism, where it would be you'd have a couple of the same symptoms of autism, but then you would have these hypersocial symptoms.
Mhm.
And that should have become its own thing. Like, one of the symptoms of autism that I didn't mention is a lot of people that are autistic have delayed requisition of speech. Or, sorry, delayed acquisition of speech. So,
But can you
they,
define
so a normal child will start speaking at, let me quickly double check the age. I remember it being fairly young. It's like just before a year to just after a year.
Wait, really? That early? Like a year old?
I mean, yeah, most children,
Yeah, 12 to 18
toddlers,
months.
yeah, when they're a year old, they'll start grasping language and like say da da and stuff like that. Remember, so,
Yeah.
like, that sort of
Yep.
thing happens, and that's when children really do start to grasp the idea and concept and vernacular of certain words and start to develop language.
It's
Oh,
from about
yeah, but
12
even
to
if they
18
don't
months
start
is
talking till
the
they're
average.
5, that doesn't mean they have to have other things to compare it to, right? Other markers, is that the word?
They have
Other...
to compare it to other things as well, because
Yes,
some
yes.
children are just late bloomers, some might be developmentally disabled, some might be
Although if a child can't speak until they're 5, I think that's a pretty big red flag.
Hey,
big-
hey.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying that's a pretty big one.
that is a red flag, and that would signal that you should probably test for
No,
autism, Asperger's syndrome, or something
3
else.
is not. I started talking around 3. That's normal. I thought that was normal.
Yeah, it's like three is like when you can start, stringing together sentences and concepts and ideas. A lot of like 1s and 2s, you'll just get baby babble.
When
Okay.
someone the first word is normally said between 12 and 18 months of age.
Mhm.
Then the first basic sentences tend to be around 18 to 23 months. So at 18 to 23 months, you'll get like 5 to 8 word sentences.
Mm-hmm. So, if that. Usually like 2 to 3.
Yeah, it'll be at the high end, like that 5 to 8 word sentence.
Okay.
And you'll get an occasional 5 to 8 word sentence, not constantly, Mama, I would like to, or Mama, I would like cookies. You wouldn't standard get that. But
yeah, but
get away, demon child.
See, if a kid doesn't really start talking in full sentences stuff until they're 5, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that. They have to look for other symptoms. Like my brother didn't really start talking full sentences and stuff like that till he's 5, but he had nothing like that. He was fine.
There are some like things that happen with like not talking until 5. It's not necessarily the fact that he couldn't talk. Maybe it's the fact that he didn't desire to.
Yeah,
and that comes
probably
into like different
it actually.
Sort of,
that would make sense.
That's a completely separate sort of mental issues there.
Yeah.
There are a fair
and that's the problem is that like I do think that the major problem is that a lot of people discredit or even just outright dismiss a lot of mental health issues when there are legitimate ones. And where I think that blame lies is people that constantly lie about their condition.
Yes. Like okay. Can I rant about something real quick? You have all these kids on TikTok saying, I have DID, and oh God, they're making it impossible for anybody that actually has that to get treatment if they wanted it. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
I 100% agree. I mean, that's the major problem is the fact that like the mental illness and like conditions and so on and so forth have become a fad. And the reason why they've become a fad is because it gives certain people the idea that they get absolved of responsibility because they have a
Oh,
condition. And that's
no,
the furthest from the proper idea of what it should be, of what you should be doing. And
yeah.
I may be broadly generalizing for some of that, but I see that as a problem that is way too common.
Mm-hmm.
If
No,
that makes sense.
it is. People want to. Oh, it wasn't my fault. It was because I have schizophrenia raka huba haba. It was
Yeah,
that.
it's like
It was
you can't blame me. I have autism.
right. You can't.
That
Yeah.
okay. That is one of the things that pisses me off every fucking time I hear it. It just
Yep.
makes me boil with goddamn
And
rage.
and I 100% agree with you, Sanguine, because
Mm-hmm.
all it does is it delegitimizes people that actually suffer from it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the thing is that it doesn't. Having autism is not the asshole get out of jail free card.
Mm-hmm.
Just like having anger issues doesn't mean that you get to just be a dickhead that breaks shit and gets pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell people that, yeah, I have Asperger's syndrome, the first time that I met up with Inquisitor and them, I think I told you guys this. It wasn't, well, you have to excuse me, I have autism, and then I just acted like an asshole. It was, hey, to let you know, I might
Mm-hmm.
miss shit every so often,
Mm-hmm.
because if it's you signaling your emotion with your face, you are better off speaking Chinese to me.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
I
just
will
giving a heads up.
understand
That's
that
it.
more. So if I'm missing something, let me know. And then
Yeah.
when it's pointed out that, dude, I've had this going on, I don't go, well, excuse me, I have autism. No, I go, oh shit, sorry, man. And then I continue on. And I might say, shit, sorry, you know how it is. It's difficult. And then I'll continue on. And it'll just
Mhm.
be that. It won't be a, well, you have to excuse me because of this.
You are not using it as a shield for bad behavior.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that do that, but there's got to be something more than them just looking for an excuse and being an asshole. I mean, I keep thinking it's that. Uh, well, like who was I talking to about this, about the whole stupid TikTok thing? It's that they want attention, which I can't understand that part because it, it's like, why? That is the worst kind of attention you could get. Why would you want to be labeled a freak? That is
Yep.
horrible.
Exactly. And then what's even worse is like when these people sit there and say like, well, then you should be just accepting what I am. I'm like, well, then be yourself.
Oh, no.
Yes.
The worst, most inexcusable motherfuckers on this entire goddamn planet, other than fucking chomos, are the people that say trying to find a cure or a treatment for XYZ is genocide.
Oh yeah, it's erasure. Yeah,
That is
trying to
stupid.
find a cure for blindness means that you hate blind people.
That's stupid.
No.
Look, I'm sure
How could you get that message?
I could go out on a limb and say, Sanguine, if they developed a cure that cured Asperger's, you would love to have it because you would love to be a normal person, right? You're
I
a
would
normal person,
murder
but you love
people
to
in order to
function.
get to that fucking cure. I
Yeah.
would rip through entire cities. Hell, I
Right.
would rip through entire fucking states in order to just get half a goddamn dose.
See, I felt very confident in saying that because I am the same fucking way. It would be freaking great just to function on the norm. But there's these people that, yeah, saying that, oh, you're erasing that. They obviously don't understand what it's like for you to live that way, or anybody with an issue to live that way. It's not fun. It's not fucking fun. It's not a fad. It's not cute. It's not fashionable. Go fuck yourself. Pardon me. I'm sorry.
Oh, like I said,
Sorry.
it enrages me every time I hear that.
It does, yeah.
It's one of those, go fuck yourself. You don't know what the hell you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's people. I have a theory for the people that actually have the conditions that say that type of shit. And my theory about it is that they are so devoid of an actual fucking personality that the only shred of anything that could make them of note, that could make them of any sort of mark upon someone's memory is their condition. So
yeah, that's a horrible thing too, to have that your defining characteristic.
Yep. So they define themselves as their condition. And it's the same thing with the people that when you ask Joe Schmo from Idaho, just sitting at a bar after his work shift, so tell me about yourself. If he's willing to talk, if he's game to have a conversation with you, he'll start talking about what he does for a living, what his hobbies are, if he has a family, shit like that. Things that are actually of note, his interests, and how he spends his time. That's what a normal fucking person that has a personality does.
Yeah.
When you ask someone who's devoid of a personality, so tell me about yourself, that's when you get, well, I'm of this racial group, I have this sort of genitals. These are the genitals that I like to play with. And these are my myriad of disorders. Which
that's when you walk away from that person.
Yeah, all normal people will look at them like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I know, right? There's got to be more to that. Like I said, that's a freaking sad thing to have that as your defining characteristic. I don't know anybody that actually has an issue that wants to make that the center of attention. I don't understand that. I have never met someone like that yet. That I've met people that haven't had issues that said they did, and they would pick up, oh, I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that. They would hear something new and be like, oh, I have that.
I've met a couple people that do actually have disorder X or Y, and they will identify themselves as their disorder. But like I said, it's like the black person that the first thing that they'll say when they're talking about themselves is, hi, I'm black, and you're going, I have fucking eyes.
Yeah, I have eyes, yes, I can see this.
I was going to say, Sanguine,
your hobbies.
When you said, what the fuck is wrong with you? They just told you.
Yeah. Oh, they did, didn't they? It was just that I was so fucking disinterested, I didn't pay attention.
God, weren't you paying attention? They just told you.
But the problem is that it was a non-exhaustive list because they left out thing.
Narcissism?
They left out, I am completely devoid of a personality. I'm a
Oh, God.
Because that's really what they've told you. I have no personality. I'm a skin suit. I am a husk.
I like that, skin suit. Yeah. I used to say meat suit, but skin suit's good.
Yeah. Do you remember that scene where the bug War Edgar. Yeah, I'm like that, only without the bug inside. That's what they're telling me whenever they do that.
What a
Because-
waste! You're a waste of the flesh you were printed on. I had to say that. I like Demon Knight. It was a great movie.
Yep. And the thing that's even worse than that is the people that will do that are the same sort that will tell you, don't you dare fucking generalize and stereotype people.
But they're
then
doing.
the only things that they'll tell you are things that tell you nothing about them unless you stereotype.
Huh, yeah.
Telling me you're black doesn't tell me a fucking thing about you. Because that doesn't tell me what you find interesting. That doesn't tell me your hobbies, your interests, your familial relations. That doesn't tell me what you do for a living. That tells me nothing other than the concentration of melanin within your skin.
Yeah.
And how easily you get a sunburn. Those are the two things that you told me by telling me that you're black. Doesn't fucking matter. The only way that I would be able to get any sort of personality out of that is if I went, oh, so you're black, black people are like this.
But why do they they're people like that are being hypocrites. I almost said hippogriffs. Screw it, I'm going with it. They're being hippogriffs. They're saying
far
what
more
they
interesting if they turned into hippogriffs.
It would. But then they would just define themselves by the traits of a hippogriff. They would have no personality still.
Yeah, but hippogriffs can't speak English.
Oh, this is true.
Oh,
this is true. That's a bonus. You won't have to listen to them.
Don't have flexible lips in order to form English language.
Oh, they could be like a parrot, though. You know how parakeets and parrots...
It could be like a parrot, but I've never heard of a hippogriff being like a parrot.
What? Hippogriff on a cracker. I did not mean to make things ridiculous. I am sorry.
If they were like a parrot, that means that ravens and owls would still be the most badass birds on the planet.
Ravens and owls, crows though too. They are so smart. Do you know they conduct examinations to figure out how, if they find a dead crow in the road, they will. What's it called? An autopsy, a crow autopsy, basically. They'll figure out how it died, and they'll know to avoid this spot. And I read somewhere that crows have funerals, kind of like they mourn their dead. Mm-hmm. Crows are corvids are amazing. Corvids. Yeah, they're amazing animals.
Like I said, ravens are fucking brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Testing on ravens. And the nice thing about ravens is that ravens are crows, but on steroids.
Yeah, they're so pretty. They can talk. They can actually talk.
Yep.
Yeah. It's wild.
They're just beautiful, beautiful birds.
Oh, yes, they are. Oh, yes.
Yeah, if I ever got into falconry, I would keep a raven and I would keep an owl.
Corvids are so intelligent that they can differentiate and remember people's faces.
Yes, yes. Don't ever be mean to no crow or raven.
They will fuck with you if you pick them off.
Yes, they will. They have memory. They actually have memory.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I've said for a long time that I think ravens are probably the most fascinating creatures on Earth, aside from humans, of course.
Yeah, only animal that I would say, or the only animals that I would say are kind of keeping pace with ravens in how this is fucking interesting. They are octopi. Because octopi are frighteningly intelligent, as are bears.
Bears? Oh no, we're back to the bears.
Yeah. We're lucky that bears are solitary creatures. Because if bears were a fucking family unit, if they were a pack creature, far in human evolution as we actually did.
You know, that means that Yogi Bear's a genius because he's smarter than the average bear. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Yep. Well, the thing is that we have evidence of bears teaching each other how to do shit.
Huh.
Yeah, there's the bear food lockboxes that people get for camping. And we have evidence of a female bear learning how to break into one of those safes. Then, at the very next opportunity, teaching her children how to break into one.
Huh. Oh, another thing about...
And then it's spreading very fucking fast throughout the rest of the bears.
Oh, yeah, they're telling the other bears how to... Yeah, that's the thing about... One thing about crows, Assassin said he talks to them, feeds crows and ravens. They go and tell their friends about people. They will. Like, it's crazy. It's so cool. So bears do that too, apparently. Or they go explain stuff to the children. That's wild.
Bears are able to teach each other how to do shit. And then
that's
the final animal that is fascinating because of how fucking freaky intelligent it is also one of my favorite facts. As of a few years ago, orangutans are in the Stone Age. The big orange ape. Yeah, they've started making progressively more complex stone tools.
Oh. Huh.
Which is really fucking cool and also terrifying.
It is. We're going to have Planet of the Apes. Except
what's even more scary is the fact that orangutans know how to drive cars.
What?
It's a simple enough device that orangutans have, ones that have been exposed to vehicular operation can learn how to drive.
That's not a nice way of referring to NASCAR.
Hey, it's like what is that movie with he has the orange orangutan and Smokey and the Bandit? Is that it? Where he's in the car, Clyde?
No, but Clint Eastwood with the monkey is the thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I can't remember it now. I like that movie, and I've watched it a lot, and it just went out of my brain.
There was also the one movie with the baboon driving a tank and the man who had his head run over.
Oh my god.
I've
never seen that.
Inquisitor probably knows what movie I'm talking about. Because it was a Red Letter Media review that was done ages ago.
So I was driving and I had to mute myself. Yes, it's called Order of the Order of the Eagle? Something like that?
Order of the Eagle.
Let me see here. There might be an adjective there that I'm missing.
One of the stuntmen had his face run over by an ATV.
Wait, for real?
Yes, that actually happened in the movie. Yeah, it was an accident, and it was left in the movie.
Yep.
Oh
It was
wait.
an accident, and it was left in the
Oh.
movie.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Was he okay?
He did an interview
Yeah.
where and it's called Order of the Black Eagle.
Order of
Yeah,
the Black
he
Eagle.
did an interview. He did an interview of it where he's talking about the stuntman he's like, man, I landed this perfect stunt and it looked great. And then like the guy, instead of going and doing this small turn, he just made this a bigger turn and then gunned the engine because he wasn't going to get in the proper frame. And he landed right in the path of the guy with the ATV going at a wider angle and just ran his face over.
My gosh. Oh no.
What I remember of it, the thing was they had practiced the stunt a bunch of times. They had nailed it perfectly every time. But the thing was, they didn't have the mounted machine gun.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what threw off his turn. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So the mounted machine gun meant that he couldn't turn the handlebars as sharply as he did, which meant that the turn was all wrong. So he's laying on the ground, and he realizes what's going to happen. Right as a 230-pound man riding an ATV drives onto his face.
Oh
and
my
the man
God.
immediately realizes what happens, and he panics.
Oh God.
Yeah, and he guns the engine.
The engine.
Wait, the orangutan?
No. This is a stuntman. Yeah, this is a stuntman on the vehicle.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he just pauses for a moment after saying that, and then said something along the lines of, a 230-pound man riding an ATV did a burnout on my face.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they left it in the movie.
Oh wow. Well, why not? It looked awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
apparently.
If you're gonna be paying someone for their for their lawsuit, you might as well just use it in your movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
Get your
it's
money's
kind of
worth.
like, are you guys familiar with the movie Heaven's Gate?
Of course.
No.
Yeah.
So, Kefki, Adam, you both know the no animals were harmed in the making of this movie
Yes.
warning before movies?
Yeah.
Heaven's Gate is the reason why that's now a warning on
Oh
movies.
God. I don't want to know that. No.
Yeah.
Heaven's Gate accidentally blew up a horse
Oh God.
and rider.
Oh, poor horse.
Yeah, there was a horse and rider that ended up right over top of one of their demo charges for a huge battle scene. It blew up and the rider was hit with horse shrapnel.
Oh.
He ended up in the hospital for an extended period of time.
I'm surprised he did not die.
Yeah, he had literal chunks of horse that were dug out of him.
Oh, poor horse.
The horse died, but it died very quickly.
So it did not feel it. It was too quick to... It did
Most
not
likely.
suffer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, since we're on this morbid subject, what about the Conqueror? Do you guys know about this little mishap?
Mm-mm.
Not
The
sure.
So there was a movie starring John Wayne where he played Attila the Hun.
The irradiated, the one that gave me
Yep.
Wait, what?
So they filmed on a place. They filmed on a site that had been used for nuclear testing.
Oh, no.
So the entire site was irradiated. Everyone on the cast and crew were exposed to radiation.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and an obscene number of them got cancer that was associated with radiation, to include John Wayne.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Then, of course, there was also the incident in the filming of The Mummy.
The what?
Do you guys know about that one?
Mm-mm.
You know The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, right?
Oh, the mummy, yeah.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser was almost killed.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So you know
How?
the scene at the start of the movie where Brendan Fraser gets hung?
Mm-hmm.
Hanged, but yeah.
Well, in that scene, he was wearing a harness that was meant to take all the pressure of the hanging.
Uh-huh.
There's only one problem. The
It wasn't.
floor dropped out from underneath him.
Uh-huh.
He was wearing his harness. His harness took the brunt of the fall
Uh-huh.
and then snapped.
Oh. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
You know, similar
No
thing
one
happened to Michael J.
realized.
Fox in Back to the Future when the scene where he was up on the and
Yep,
Doc.
happened
Yeah.
to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And
wow.
I think Michael J. Fox actually blacked out from his, whereas
Mm.
Brendan Fraser was able to signal them just quick enough, and the scene was just short enough where he was in the background that he hadn't
Uh-huh.
passed out,
Oh my
but
God.
he had waited until the scene was done.
Oh God bless his soul. Why? Why? I guess he wanted to get the shot, or them to
Well,
get the shot. Show must go on.
I mean, I've heard about people getting genuine reactions out of actors, but this is ridiculous.
Yes.
it's kind of
Yes.
like the Leonardo DiCaprio in Django. You guys know
I
about
haven't
that one,
heard.
right?
Uh-uh.
No.
So you remember the scene where he shatters the wine glass in his hand?
Damn it, brain work.
Sure.
So
No, but I'll
in
imagine it.
effectively the big climactic scene at the end,
Uh-huh.
he shatters a wine glass and cuts his hand, and then he like wipes his blood on a nurse or on his maid's apron,
Oh.
and then grabs something and wraps his hand up and continues talking to them throughout the
Uh-huh.
entire pit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the glass wasn't supposed to shatter.
Oh. So he just acted through that.
Yeah, so he
That's
was
pretty metal.
dealing with that, shattered the glass in his hand, had this in his head as he continued acting,
That's
wiped the blood on the apron, grabbed the one thing, started wrapping his hand while continuing his monologue in it.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like also there's the um, Viggo Mortensen deflecting a knife in The Lord of the Rings. So
Yes.
there's a scene where an orc throws a knife at his head.
Uh-huh.
And it looks really fucking good because Aragorn just bats that blade out of his face
Mm-hmm.
at the last moment. And it's this look of fuck you and oh shit at the same time on his face. There's a very good reason for that.
Oh God.
Viggo Mortensen actually batted a thrown knife out of the air as it was flying towards his face.
Oh wow. Was it supposed to be flying toward his
No.
face? Oh God.
It was an
Oh wow.
accident that happened. And then almost immediately after that bit of, oh, fucking shit, I almost died,
Uh-huh.
he then boots a helmet and shatters his foot.
Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah. Yeah. And continued
Sounds
acting
like
through it.
Adam
Right?
nodded off again, so I'm going to quickly mute up Adam again.
Okay. He's a CP.
Yep. But yeah, he broke his foot by booting a helmet,
Mm.
and he had the interesting slap a knife out of the air.
I know they say break a leg, but that's ridiculous. Come on.
Let's say a couple of other interesting ones. Everyone knows the one. Alien. No one told the entire cast
Oh,
that the chestburster scene was going to happen.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
everyone's reaction was genuine.
Yes. That was amazing.
Did you know that the exact same thing was done several times on Stanley Kubrick productions?
nice.
Namely, the Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson scene in The Shining, where he
fucked Shelley Duvall's
He
mom.
did. He
oh,
tormented
oh
her.
yeah, he
He
tormented
did.
her. Well, one example of that is the axe scene in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
was told to cut a hole in the door, and Shelley Duvall did not know what was going on.
Yep.
I'm glad she was out of the way. You know?
Yes.
Just God. He was so evil and vile to her. He tortured that poor lady.
Yeah.
And she did
I'll
not
say this
deserve
though,
that.
she did not deserve it, but for the audience,
Her
we got
performance was
the
amazing,
best,
yes.
the best result from that, because that is
yes.
a classic movie for a reason.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a really amazing movie.
It is. I
But
love The Shining.
does it legitimize the torment that Shelley Duvall went through?
No,
I don't know.
but
I don't know.
no, I can't say it. Her
Another
acting is
really-
amazing. Like it pisses me
Yes.
off when people
Well, it
say
wasn't acting.
Shelley Duvall was the worst part. Sorry.
Yeah.
It wasn't acting.
Oh yeah, no, fuck that. She was easily one of the best parts of that
Yes,
movie.
I
It
know.
humanized her so well.
I
Oh,
know.
I mean, you
I
empathized with her character.
Yes.
I'm not
Oh,
saying
yes.
that she's a bad actor in general. I'm saying that wasn't acting. That was
Yeah, true.
Yeah, true. That was
Yeah.
real reactions.
Another one was Malcolm McDowell's reaction in Clockwork Orange when they pry his eyes open,
Yes.
because
Oh.
that was not like safe what they did to him,
Uh-huh.
and it carried the real risk of scratching his cornea. So yeah, that was not.
He actually did scratch his cornea during that
I think
scene,
yeah.
if I
I think it was like
correctly.
minor damage. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, minor. But he acted through that too. And that's just, well, yeah. I don't know why Stanley Kubrick he's an amazing director, but I don't know why he torments us. I guess to get the best reaction. Never mind me.
Yeah.
Do you know the movie Sanjuro?
No, I don't know. I don't think I've seen Sanjuro.
So, do you know Yojimbo?
Of course.
Usagi?
Yojimbo
Close.
Yojimbo is the movie that the Fistful of Dollars trilogy was based upon.
Yeah.
Effectively. And there was a movie that had the exact same Toshiro Mifune character with Kurosawa, and it was called Sanjuro.
Mm.
And in Sanjuro, there's a duel at the end where it's Sanjuro and this one character that have been cat and mouse the entire fucking movie.
Uh-huh.
And it's this classic samurai showdown.
Isn't that a game?
No one was. Say again?
Samurai Showdown? That's a game.
It is
Right?
a game, but I'm not talking the game.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. It just clicked my brain.
But, yeah, it's this intense scene where they're both looking at each other, and think, if you haven't seen classic old school samurai movies,
Mm-hmm.
think a duel in the Old West
Mm-hmm.
or in a Western movies where it's a bunch of people, or just the two guys looking at each other to see which one starts to move, and then the moment one moves, they both do, and they both attack.
Uh-huh.
It's that sort of setup. And as that happened, there was something that no one knew that was on the set, except for Kurosawa. They had used more charge in the blood bag than normal. So when Sanjuro slashed him, the guy is knocked back a little bit. And it's because he got a massive fucking bruise on his chest from the blood bag bursting. And it's just this spray of blood from the cut. It is a fantastic scene, but there's that look of kind of pained shock on the actor's face. And it's because the actor had pained shock in real life. That blood bag burst.
Yeah, a couple of the other favorite things about movies and that kind of stuff. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yep.
Wait.
Everyone knows the scene where Frankenfurter pulls the cover off to show. Oh God.
Rocky?
No,
not Rocky.
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 Meatloaf's character. Shit.
Oh,
Yeah, Freddy.
yeah.
That's it. That shows Freddy's body. Yeah, the actors didn't know the body was there.
Nice.
I didn't know that.
And then the other one, oh God, Blade Runner is hands down my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
The entire ending soliloquy by Rutger Hauer was improvised.
Nice. That's
He
like,
came up with it on his own. That scene steals the entire movie from Harrison Ford. Like Harrison Ford might as well have been not in the movie for how good that scene is with Rutger Hauer.
That is my favorite scene. It's amazing.
It's
It's
like,
entirely improvised.
I didn't
kind
know
of
it was
like how
improvised.
one of the defining Indiana Jones moments was an
Mhm.
on-the-spot improv moment.
Oh, the gunshot.
Yep.
Yep. Everyone knows about that one. Is the fact that Harrison Ford was really fucking sick that day, and
Horrendous food poisoning hadn't.
Yeah. The actor sitting there doing like all these like great stunts with the sword, and then he just pulls out the gun and shoots him. Originally, the script called for a big action sequence where he would fight him and use his whip most of the time.
Yep, it was a whip versus sword fight.
But at the end of it, when he's been sick all day, like, you can see he's like visibly sweating. He just looks like haggard and broken. He just pulls out the gun and shoots him. Yeah, that's entirely improvised.
And it's
not scripted.
And then also, there's an old one, but you know Zero Mostel, of course, right, Inquisitor?
Mm-hmm.
Zero Mostel pissed off every director he ever worked with because every single performance of a stage play and every single day of filming, he would change some part of the script without telling anyone. And he would just make up something for right then and there because he wanted it to be in the stage performance. He wanted each day that someone saw him perform on stage to be different. So if anyone came to every show, they would get to see different performances. And he just kept that habit when it came to filming as well. But also, if it was one of the changes that he put in, he would never redo that change. even if it was better than what was in the script. So it just pissed off every fucking director.
Another one of my favorite ones too is the scene in Fight Club where Edward Norton hits Brad Pitt in the ear.
Yep.
Oh, you hit me in the fucking ear! Oh God, I'm sorry. Are you all right? That was great. Wham! That whole scene it was a flub. Edward Norton accidentally did hit Brad Pitt in the ear, and that was Brad Pitt's genuine reaction, and they just rolled with the scene.
I'm trying to think. There was one other really good. Oh, it's not a flub or anything, but it was just a really interesting note. Until just a few years ago, do you guys know what the longest continuous fight scene was in any movie?
What was it?
Now I would say it's probably Old Boy.
Yeah, I think Old Boy is the one that took the cake. But there was one.
Because that's like a 12-minute 10. Like, I mean, what's even better about Old Boy is that it's all one shot too.
Yep. But the one that had the prize before Old Boy took it was a John Wayne movie, The Quiet Man.
Okay.
Have you ever seen The Quiet Man?
That one. No.
It is fantastic. The premise behind The Quiet Man is an American boxer of Irish descent. As in, I think his mother, if not both he and his mother, moved to America from Ireland. Decides suddenly to go back to Ireland, go back to the town that he remembered hearing stories of and vaguely remembered from when he was really little, to get away from everything. And he was this big name prize fighter in the States. He became internationally known. He gets to Ireland and he refuses to fucking fight anyone. And a bunch of people keep on trying to pick fights with him because why not measure yourselves up against the heavyweight champ?
Huh.
So he ends up falling in love with a Irish woman. Her brother starts constantly trying to fuck with him. And every time he's trying to avoid fighting, until eventually it all comes to a head. Shit has gone wrong. He's finally decided enough is fucking enough. And there's the longest fight prior to Old Boy, the longest continuous fight prior to Old Boy in the movie between him and the brother. As they just fight their way from the brother's home all the way through the little town that they move, or that the character moved to, down the road, up a lane, over to his own house, all in a fight scene where they're just going back and forth, bashing each other about. It is fantastic. Especially since you get to see the entire town reacting as it's going. And the townsfolk are cheering him on. Laughing, getting beers, coming back out to watch the fight as it progresses through the fucking town.
It sounds like a Popeye cartoon.
It is
John
amazing.
Wayne Sean Thornton killed a man in the ring and left for Ireland after he was cleared to get away. Oh, it sounds like an interesting movie.
Yeah, that was what ended up being the crux of the matter. So it's something that it isn't stated right at the very beginning what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you end up finding out that, yeah, he beat a man to death in the ring by accident.
Mm.
He was just having a boxing match. The guy didn't yield, hit the guy just wrong, just a bit too hard, and
Oh, that can happen though, easy.
yep, but he blamed
Yeah.
himself, so he had sworn himself to pacifism, and then this brother just kept on fucking with him.
Yeah, Assassin said the brother refused to give his sister her dowry.
Yep,
Clint's sister. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
yep.
See, normally it's the other way around. I mean, actors usually flee Ireland after killing someone. Totally not talking about Matthew Broderick right now.
Yep. But it's a fantastic movie. Also, it has one of the best lines and one of the best line deliveries for fucking any movie in existence. And I will fight a person over this. Because at one point, he's dragging his wife back home. And it's one of those moments where she's fighting, but you can tell through the acting and through the narrative that she's fighting but really wants him to do it. She just wants him to have to drag her back rather than just following him back because she doesn't want to be a doormat.
Mm-hmm.
And this little old Irish woman is following the crowd as he's taking his wife back home. And you see her break off from the crowd, go running into the woods nearby, then come back a few moments later, come running up to John Wayne, get in front of John Wayne and Catherine O'Hara, I think that was the actress. And she immediately holds out a stick to John Wayne and says, "Here's a good switch to beat the lovely missus with," and then goes and rejoins the crowd. Best fucking line and line delivery in existence. I will fight you over this.
Here's a stick to beat the missus with. A lovely stick to beat the...
Here's a good switch to beat the lovely missus with. Yes, Maureen.
Oh my god.
That's the name. I got the last name right.
Oh my god. That's funny.
Yeah, Maureen O'Hara. And she and John Wayne were in a bunch of movies together. They were fantastic chemistry. Here's a good switch to beat the lovely missus with.
Sorry. So
And like I said,
unexpected. Oh my god.
And it's even better when you watch the movie because the entire movie, she's the sweetest, nicest old lady. She's the sort that's like baking cookies for people. And just this very small old woman, all smiles and happy. And shit will happen around her and it's just like, oh, it's God's will. And she'll continue on. And then she just gets so excited during that scene, runs off into the woods, grabs a stick, comes back. Here's a good switch to beat the lovely missus with, and then rejoins the crowd. And it's the fastest you see her move the entire movie. It's even better.
You thought she was a sweet little old granny. She's really not misogynist. What is it? Is it misogynist?
Misogynist would be against women, yes.
Okay. No. Say masochist. That's the word I'm looking for. Say it. Masochist. There we go.
You're in favor of being beaten for a little bit of pleasure.
Yeah. See, Massachusetts. She's Massachusetts.
But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. Though.
What's it called again?
It's The Quiet Man.
The Quiet Man. Okay. Because I want to see this now.
I will warn, because if you're the sort that needs to have action happening every moment, it is not that sort of movie. It's mostly interpersonal drama and some clever insults, some really funny jokes that just are dipped in, no attention's really paid to them. There isn't any of that, this is the moment for you to
I like
laugh.
that. I
It's
like that. That
just-
makes it funnier.
Yeah, it's just a quip, and at most you'll get one of the characters start to walk away, and then his head just kind of cocks like, "Oh, you bastard," and then continues walking away. It's a fantastic movie, but it has that very gradual build to everything. And then it does have the big fight at the end, but it's a very gradual, slow, but
slow burn.
Not painfully slow, just deliberately slow. Build up to justify the action scene.
Oh, The Quiet Man. Thank you. Thank you, Assassa.
Yep. And I'm not saying it's hefty as if she has zero attention span. I'm saying it in general because when people... There's a lot of people that will watch an old movie and they'll go, "This movie is so slow. Nothing happens in it." And I'm going, no, this movie's fucking amazing. You just have to pay attention to that goddamn story.
Yeah.
You don't need something to explode every 3 seconds.
Boom! Boom, boom. Flashing lights.
There's nothing wrong with having a movie where something explodes every so often, but you don't need to have something explode every few seconds.
I like
now, see, obviously the artistic decision isn't to have something explode every so often to keep everyone's attention. You need to cut to a parrot going like really, really loud.
Yes. Okay. Just to wake everyone up.
Well, that was what was done in Citizen Kane. And everyone says that's high art.
But does it have to be a parrot?
Yes.
As long as it's not voiced by
as long as it's not Iago.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert Gottfried. Brah! Pay attention. That was horrible.
But Winnie hates my clitoris!
Oh my god.
The Gilbert Godfrey reads 50 Shades is a fucking internet classic. I don't
Well, I wish that it actually happened. You do not know how much I would have like went out and got that on Audible the very second it happened.
Yep.
Do you not know about the Gilbert Gottfried reads 50 Shades of Grey thing? It was a video on College Humor. Back before College Humor went to shit. And what the premise was is it was Gilbert Gottfried reading 50 Shades of Grey, which, as we all know, is like it's mommy softcore porn.
Okay.
And
but
so
Gilbert Gottfried makes it funny.
Exactly.
Yes.
I told that bit when I was first telling about the story. Then I gave the caution after just to make sure that people don't think that it's a constant action scene, since I said that the longest continuous fist fight in any movie was in that for the longest period of time. So when you hear the longest continuous fist fight in a movie, you kind of think that there's going to be a shit ton of fist fights. Not just one fist fight at the very fucking end.
Apparently, Sanguine, you couldn't sell ice water to people in the desert. What is that so funny?
Yeah, it's because Assassin tends to have problems when anyone uses a word over a couple syllables.
I no, but I've never heard of the phrase "sell ice water" to folks that does. I've never heard that, and it's so perfect to. Yeah, it sounds better than saying so and so can't explain or not explain, but I don't know. It's just funny. It's funny.
Uh,
Well, okay, I'm looking up to see if there's any place that like ranks exactly how long and in terms of like how like the actual numbers involved for fight scenes.
Yep.
But the one that just comes to mind immediately that it's so long and it's so great is the church massacre scene in Kingsman.
The what? I've
Nice.
never seen that one either. Damn it! I want to see both of them now.
It is fucking brutal and it is amazing.
Yeah.
It's all set to Freebird by Leonard Skinner.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I need to see this.
I can send you a link. Give me a sec.
Wow.
Oh wait, no, I can't send you a link right now because if I
That's okay.
do anything on my phone right now, it'll kick me out of the call.
Same.
So,
Same.
after-
I'm looking at chat on my other device on my phone instead of my tablet. Yeah. You do anything
Afterwards,
to kick you out.
I'll send you a link to it because it's amazing.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Though I did just realize we've been
After
going for
pulling
about
up Talk with
3
Chessy
hours.
Yeah, almost. It's almost time for me to go, dude. So I only got 20 minutes.
So shall we do our parting words and
Oh. Okay.
cut everyone loose, or do you guys want to continue with the conversation? I'm game either way.
I enjoy hearing about movies and stuff. I could keep going, but I think Adam is sleepy.
Yeah, I think Adam's pretty sleepy.
Yeah. He is the sleepy.
I don't think it's so much sleepy. I just didn't really have much to contribute, and I'm trying to figure out what Kefke's eating.
I am eating the Chessy Poofs, and they are mine.
I was gonna say cheesy poofs.
Yes.
Come on, Adam. What else would they
I'm
be?
sorry. I didn't mean to make noise and stuff. I'm sorry.
Mogu. Ah. So I found this on what is this? Collider. So, but at least it's not an opinion piece. 10 great movies recommended by Akira Kurosawa.
Oh, nice.
Number 10 is My Neighbor Totoro.
Mhm.
Which, if you've not seen My Neighbor Totoro, you need to see My Neighbor Totoro because it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I've never seen that.
Yeah,
I've heard
it's
wonderful things about it.
We need to change that come next year around summertime there, Kefke, when we all get together.
Aha! Sounds great.
I will bring my DVD copy of My Neighbor Totoro. Anyway, next one is The 400 Blows.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's a Japanese film.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of Japanese.
Oh no,
Just don't think
I'm
I've seen
sorry, it is not Japanese. It is French.
Oh, that was
Francois Truffaut. Francois Truffaut.
that
Then
would explain why I didn't see the movie.
Late Spring. That one is a Japanese film by Yasujiro Ozu.
Okay.
It's tended to be considered his two best films is Tokyo Story and Late Spring, 1953 and 1949.
I've seen Tokyo Story. I haven't seen Late Spring.
Okay, same director.
Okay.
Number 7 is Pather Pachali, which is Indian, I think.
Yeah, I have not
Okay.
seen that.
Pather Pachali. Number 6, Kurosawa's got some good taste. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Nice.
One of my absolute favorite Jack Nicholson films.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Barry Lyndon, 1979, Warner Brothers. It's a Stanley Kubrick film.
Okay.
Hmm.
Number 4, It's a Wonderful Life, which I don't know how you could possibly live long enough in the United States and not have caught It's a Wonderful Life on TV in
never
Christmas
seen
time.
it.
Oh my God, Kathy! Oh my God!
What?
It's a Christmas staple. Come on!
I have never seen it.
Do you just turn off your TV all
No,
Christmas
I
season?
turn it to The Grinch Stole Christmas.
Well, that's Chuck Jones. I mean, yeah, okay, that's a classic too. But come on. Then we've got Fanny and Alexander.
Oh, nice.
Longest fantasy movies of all time.
Oh.
What was that?
Ingmar Bergman. It's a Swedish filmmaker.
Yep.
Okay.
So, number 2, Paris, Texas, 1984. And then number 1, Godfather Part 2.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell you I've never seen that.
Oh my God, Kathy! You're killing me here.
Look,
Francis
I
Ford
love
Coppola.
movies. You can't.
Come on, Tell me at least you've seen Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes, millions of times.
Okay, good. We'd have problems if you hadn't seen that one. Come on. That's a favorite movie of mine.
It is a great movie. Oh.
Take the gun, leave the cannoli.
The story of the good man who thinks he is a failure and is shown all the good he accomplished by seeing what would happen. Oh, that's the one everyone parodies around Christmas time. This is what it would be like if you were never born, right?
Yeah, and every time you hear a bell ring, an angel gets its wings.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I want to live! Francis, I want to live! Yeah, it's Jimmy Stewart, yeah.
Okay.
Jimmy Stewart really has one of those voices that is immediately obvious that it's Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah. My favorite Jimmy Stewart movie, though, I'm not sure if anyone's going to get it, but probably people have seen references to it, Harvey.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about with Harvey?
Yeah.
The
Invisible Rabbit.
Invisible Rabbit, yeah. Six foot tall, invisible rabbit.
Wait, there's an invisible rabbit?
Well, okay, the premise of the movie is that Jimmy Stewart is this just genuinely really nice guy, going around doing great things for people. It's just that he says that he sees an invisible 6 foot tall rabbit.
That
And
seems
it's
so
his-
familiar.
6 foot tall pink invisible rabbit.
Was this an 80s
Yeah.
movie?
No, this is like
No?
Much
this is like 50s. Yeah, it's
50s.
like 50s.
Oh,
It's
wait,
black,
wait.
It's
I
black
think
and white.
I have seen this. I just cannot remember.
Oh, okay, wait, no, sorry. I am so sorry, Keki. Yes, it got remade in the 80s starring, what's his name? Dude in Night Court. Dude who plays the judge in Night Court.
Yes, that's the one that
Oh,
I have
yeah.
seen. That's the familiar one, but I cannot remember
Yeah.
it better.
I know the actor
Yeah.
you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Anderson?
Anderson something. Oh, shit. Come on, memory.
Anderson.
Harry Anderson? I think it might be Harry Anderson.
Harry. It is Harry. It's Harry. Because he's Harry in Night Court.
Yeah.
Judge Harry.
And they
Which
all
Night
had
Court is
some
a
sort of
great
name.
show.
Oh, yeah, I love Night Court. I've been
Yeah, me
rewatching
too.
Night Court on Amazon Prime. It's great.
Oh.
But,
Huh.
yeah, here.
Oh, it's free?
Let me see. Yeah, it's free. Free
Oh
with
my God.
ads. But
Oh, my God.
if you play it on a computer and you
Night
have...
Court.
Yeah. I've been binging it. It's great. Let's see.
Yeah.
Hold on. Night. God damn it. Night Court Judge. Not the new one. Harry
There's
T.
a
Stone
new
played
Night
by...
Court?
Yeah, there is, and it's terrible.
Oh.
Harry Anderson. I was right.
Harry
his
Anderson.
name.
Yep, you were right.
That makes me want to also look up Wings, see if I can find that anywhere to watch.
Oh, I think it might be on Amazon as well, on Amazon Prime. Let me see. Because I remember I used to
You have
watch
to
that one with my
download-
mom as well.
Yeah,
Do you have
Wings
to
was
download
good.
anything to watch Prime movies? Sorry, Sanguine. Sorry.
You have to download the Prime app on your
Mm.
mobile device.
Okay, so
But
I
if you
have to
watch,
be a member of Amazon Prime to do it. That
yes,
makes
you do.
sense.
Yeah,
Okay, I
unfortunately.
can't do it. Shit.
Uh, but yeah, I say it's yeah. Hey, let me see if it's on if Wings is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I haven't seen Night Court in forever. We used to watch that all the time. It would be we had a black and white TV too, so that'd be the only
Mhm.
thing we could get to show on the TV. Channel 30, Night Court.
Yeah, no,
Memories.
Wings is on Prime, Sanguine,
Okay,
for
nice.
free.
Oh, see,
If you got a
thank you,
Prime
Sanguine.
membership. Yeah.
Very nice. So I'll have to check that out.
I say your name wrong, I think. I say Sanguine. That's wrong, correct?
No,
That's the
no,
way the
that's fine.
scribe pronounces it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Sanguine, it's all, yeah. It's not like you're putting the wrong
Sanguine.
emphasis on the wrong syllable.
I
Syllable.
will respond to
Emphasis on the
either.
wrong syllable.
I'll respond to either Kefki, though the way that
Uh-huh.
when someone asks how to say sanguine, I tend
Uh-huh.
to say sanguine rhymes with penguin.
Sanguine. Oh, okay. Now, how on earth do you pronounce Mathghamhain?
So that is Old Irish, so
Mm-hmm.
it cannot be pronounced how it's spelled. It
Ah.
is ma like mama,
Uh-huh.
gov like government, and on like yawn. So Magavan.
Maga. Wait. Break it down for one more time, please.
Ma
Maga.
gov on.
Oh, Magov. What's the last one?
On like yawn.
On. Okay. See, I'm looking at it. I shouldn't be looking at it. I'm wanting to. Magavon. Magavon. Magavon.
Yep. Magavan.
so,
Magavon. Da
here's
da 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 da.
a good example of a good example and something that we can all say when we all meet up and have a drink. It's a common form of Gaelic on how
Uh-huh.
you toast someone. So
Oh,
toast, cheers, right? I'm going to spell it
Magavon.
for you, and you tell me how it's pronounced. Okay, I'll spell it for you first. Slainte.
I'm letting Kefki give a go because I know.
Okay, I know you know.
Wait. One more time. One more time.
S L
SL
A
A
I
I
N T E.
slain slanked.
That's how it's spelled. How it's pronounced? Sluncha.
Sluncha. I like that. That sounds like an insult. Look here, you sluncha.
But yeah, that's what you say when you toast someone.
Sluncha. I like that. That's
It means
Gaelic?
health. It means health in Irish
Oh,
and Scottish Gaelic.
oh, Irish and Scottish. Ah, very nice.
Yeah, technically it's most accurately translated
Ah,
as to health.
the Muppets
Yes.
Christmas Carol. That's a great one. Oh, another great Christmas movie that I love so much is Scrooged. I love Scrooged.
Oh,
That's
I love
great.
Scrooge. That's such a great
Yes.
movie.
Yeah. I used to watch it every
That
Christmas.
era of Bill Murray is just it's all just classic.
Yes, Chef Kiss. It is. It's great. Oh, I
I
like
say
Bill
Bill
Murray
Murray
a
only
lot.
knows how to play Bill Murray, but that's
Yeah.
okay because that's what they cast him as.
Uh, yeah. That is his
Well, my
best role.
favorite one of my favorite bits of Scrooge though is uh, Bobcat Goldthwait
Yes.
coming back with a shotgun.
Yes. Oh, the first time I saw Death in that movie, oh, that was so cool. I was like, okay, so they're not doing this really like his face is blank, or no, it reflects, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah,
Wait. My brain's
Yeah,
scrambling. It reflects.
his face reflects, but when he opens up his robe, it's like the tortured
All
souls
the
of hell
souls.
all like
Yes.
it.
Yes. That's so cool. I love that he reflects like death is a reflection of you, I guess. It's some there got to be some deeper meaning in that.
Mhm.
Other than him looking like having a Cobra Commander face. Which don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, I love Cobra Commander. But
So
yeah.
Shows! Can I learn how to draw out your essence?
I love that voice actor though. I can't think of his name, but he is amazing. He did my favorite Transformers, Starscream. Well,
Starscream, hell yeah.
Starscream, but I say Starscream. Sorry.
He's made. Starscream's my favorite.
Mine
Starscream's hands down
too.
my favorite.
Mine too. Oh, I love Starscream so much. Uh, uh, he was the first Transformer that I actually got. No, wait, Optimus was the first one I got, but I wanted
Mhm.
Starscream so bad. And my dad, for Christmas one year, he got my brother Megatron and got me Optimus, I guess, so we could fight. We would fight even more. But yeah, so my brother one day, he came into my room and he liked to do this to me. He goes, "What did I tell you? You are supposed to clean your room. You need to do it right now." And I'm like, he was sounding angry and mad. And I'm like, "Well, I'm doing." He's like, "Go, no, do it right now. Start with that corner." And I walked over the corner. I'm like, "Okay," and I started picking up clothes. And underneath my clothes was a star scrum. And he started laughing his ass off
Aww!
at me. Yes.
That's
nice.
adorable. That's adorable.
Yes. He liked to do that to me. He did that again years and years later. He got me with it when he told me to stop using his damn Nintendo. Don't touch his
Mm.
damn Nintendo. And then I was almost ready to cry. I'm like, "Baba, I haven't touched it." He goes, "Well, you need to stop touching my damn Nintendo because now you have one." He gave me a Nintendo.
Nice.
A Super Nintendo, rather. Blah. But yeah,
Ooh.
it was wonderful. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent.
Oh
Memories.
no, it's wholesome. It's wholesome as fuck.
But
So
yeah,
to go in
Starscream.
a slightly different direction, one of
Mm.
my favorite depictions of something fucked up in any sort of genre, though, is the claymation, The Adventures of Mark Twain,
Oh, oh yeah, the devil. The
The
devil.
Stranger. Yes.
Yes, the little clay people, and yes, the ground opens up and. Blah, blah, blah. Wait, no,
Yep.
the stranger. Is that the
That's
guy?
the operatic mask guy.
Operatic
Yes.
Max. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is so cool looking.
Have you ever seen that Inquisitor?
I think I
Oh,
might have, but it was a long time ago. Sounded familiar, but I can't recall it.
I don't
So
think I've ever
the
heard of a
adventures,
claymation Mark
oh,
Twain.
it's cool.
yeah,
It's
the
done really
Adventures
well.
of Mark Twain is a claymation where they go in and out of a bunch of different Mark Twain books, with Mark Twain being almost like a doctor esque figure in the narrative. That's really the only way I can express how Mark Twain acts with the children. But at one point, the children enter a door that Mark Twain didn't open for them, and they walk into the stranger. And the stranger is wearing these red robes and is holding up this mask. It doesn't have a head other than this mask. And the mask's face shifts and contorts as it speaks. And then he starts talking about what it means to be a god to something. And he starts making these little clay figures and then gives them life, watches as they start to build things, as they start to live their lives. and
Sorry.
enjoy spending time with each other. And as he's talking, it just gets more and more twisted. He starts having them wage wars against each other, hits them with natural disasters. The buildings that they have constructed start collapsing and crushing them, and his face is becoming more twisted and contorted with every word he says. It is so fucking dark and gloriously fucked up.
And it's in a kid's, yeah.
Yeah, it's back when kids' movies knew you had to scare the shit out of kids from time to time.
Yeah. The story in particular that it references is the book series is The Mysterious Stranger. The story in particular from The Mysterious Stranger that it references is The Chronicle of Young Satan.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I was right. It's the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because I don't think they ever call him that either. They don't.
Nope.
No.
They don't.
A Sealdorf.
A Sealdorf.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give
That's
him a
bird
name the entire time. He's just the stranger.
A Sealdorf, by the way, meaning Assville or Donkey Town in German.
Yep.
Because Twain was a jerk like that, but I like him, so it doesn't matter.
I also love one of Mark Twain's favorite things to do was he would write his books in English, of course. He was also fluent in French, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But he wouldn't translate his own books the first time. He would have someone else translate his books. Then he would read them in French, and then he would pay someone else to translate his translated book back to English, and then he would read them just to see how fucked up it got from the translation process.
It sounds like he was doing an 1800s version of the Backstroke of the West.
Yeah.
It's like, how could you butcher my wonderful book? Let's see what you do.
For those not familiar with the Backstroke of the West, the Cliff's Notes version is that it's episode 3 of Star Wars, taken from English, translated into Korean, translated into Mandarin Chinese, translated into mainland Chinese, translated to Vietnamese, and then back into English.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yep.
that's going to be a different movie.
And there's hilarious lines like, R2, do you is fucking?
Yep.
It's also where the great internet meme of do not want comes from. You know that scene at the end when Anakin stands up as Darth Vader. No, that scene that's translated as "do not want."
Oh my god, I need to see this. Oh god.
It's on YouTube. You can watch Backstroke of the West on YouTube.
Woo! Thank you, Backstroke of the West.
But yeah, it's one of those things that he would do that with every book, and then he would actually write the French translation.
We lost quiz.
Oh, so we did. His
Yes.
signal probably crapped out for a moment.
Ah, foofers.
But I do think that when he rejoins, it is that time.
Okay, well, we've been going for a long time.
Son of a bitch. Sorry about that.
We've been going for 3.5 hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 2 hours over the usual.
I got 18 minutes before I can go home.
Woo!
We should probably go around the horn, do our usual parting words, and say goodbye to the good people that have stuck with us throughout. So who wants to go first?
I'm not sure if they're good people.
Okay.
I'll reserve judgment on that.
For the
I will go first.
questionable people that stayed with us throughout, is that the phrase?
I will go first.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Y'all be careful. Don't take no wooden nickels.
Adam, what do you think about her not being willing to take your wooden nickels?
Adam says, sleep is important. Oh, there he is.
Okay, you know what, Kefki?
What?
That's the third time you've brought up sleep.
That's the third time I brought up sleep.
Sounds pretty good
what
idea.
What you gonna do about it? You gonna go to sleep? That would be a good idea. You get some sleep.
He's gonna take his wooden nickels back home and get his bed nice and comfy.
Put him in a
Well, that's just... Wait, I don't want them wooden nickels, so that's fine.
I think it's payback for me telling you to go to sleep.
Yes, go to sleep.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's a personal thing, Kefki.
Yes.
But that's okay. Well,
you didn't even look at his wooden nickels before you declined them. Now
I don't even have wooden nickels.
Look. All wooden
they
nickels
could have been
is
nice.
a wooden nickel.
Actually,
they could have been nice. He could have really done a beautiful job carving them.
I think I do have.
Okay, but unless he hand etched, burn etched in the face of the emperor and the Eldritch Overlord, our Eldritch Overlord, then and polished it, and it's made of mahogany or cherry wood. I don't actually. You can still keep your stinking wooden nickels. I don't want them.
You didn't even look. He might have done all that. And now you're missing out because you said no wooden nickels. You didn't say no wooden nickels, except for wooden nickels that meet these exact criteria. You just said no wooden nickels. So you just missed out on your chance for that mahogany masterpiece.
Damn it, motherfucker! Give me the wooden nickels!
But, Adam, parting words?
I don't even know what time frame we're in right now, so.
I would have laughed my ass off if your parting words were, "You're not getting my wooden nickels."
Kefki, I have wooden nickels, and you are no longer gonna have them. So.
I don't know what that was. That was me dying inside.
I think you just resurrected a pterodactyl somehow. I'm not sure how. But, Inquisitor?
To quote the Office for Emergency Management, don't take any wooden nickels. Scrap loose talk. Use your common horse sense when listening to tall tales. Analyze what you hear before you believe any of it. Remember, 4 common sense are worth more than a wooden nickel anytime. As brought to you by Winchester.
Nice.
Awesome. And you know what? I'm going to give a closing statement, an actual closing statement. I'm not going to be suckered into this wooden nickel nonsense. You know what? Good people who watch this show, who, stuck around or maybe watch it later and... Oh, all right.
We're sorry.
But God bless you. I love y'all. Thanks for watching. And that's the minions.
Yeah.
I'll leave off with my standard. If you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Good night. Don't squeeze the Charmin.
Where's the beef?
Stealing additional ending words. I see your shenanigans.